Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of NFL Weekly Review. Got Rob Riley here, Jesse Walters, Wilson Tarpe Jr. We're gonna look at week 2 of the NFL season. Look back at week 2. Shout out to Maserati Mitch, the 2-0 Bears. We'll get to them in a bit. And then we're gonna look ahead to week 3. I'm sorry, I'm not very mature, so we got to get that in. We can start with last week's Thursday night game. The Browns, the Cleveland Bakers took care of business, 35-30, beating young Joe Burrow, who threw like 90 times in a game. So that was interesting that you had the kid throw that much, but also none of my business. I'm not a coach. Jesse, we can start with you. Just your thoughts on how that one went for Cleveland. I think they're 1-1 now.
I guess I'll say the remedy for a bad team is a worse team, right? So you got beat up on Cincinnati, and Cincinnati hung with them a little bit, but that run game is terrible. I mean, I feel bad for Mixon. Every time he gets the ball, he's getting attacked 5 yards behind the backfield. So but I mean, for Cleveland, that's a win. It's a win. A win's a win. So get started, and maybe they can get some offense going and win a couple.
Rob?
Y'all know I already said last week that I wasn't putting a lot of faith in Baker, and then Baker came out and kind of showed out a little bit. And then Baker got a little too ahead of himself and threw that pick, and I was like, there he is.
Yeah.
There's the guy. And next thing you know, he became the best handoff quarterback in the league. Just get a ball up, just boom, duck it, and just ride out. So kudos to Cleveland for pulling out the victory. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow can't throw the ball 61 times. You're not gonna win like that. That's just not gonna happen, man. And I also feel bad for Mixon, man, because he's a good back, but I don't think his career is gonna flourish there, man. He got to get up out of there. Or they got to figure it out quick, man. It's bad right now.
All right, go on. Tennessee Titans beating the Jacksonville Minshew's 33-30. That was actually a fun game, but Tennessee taking care of business. We start with you, Rob, and then go to Justin.
So I only caught highlights of that game, but I was watching it, carefully, just trying to see, because I didn't know which way to really go in that game for real. And Tennessee pulled it out again and squeaked by with another victory. Jacksonville, Gardner Minshew, he threw the ball 45 times too. Like I don't get that. Like they're throwing the ball way too much, man. Like you're putting way too much on your quarterback. 45 times. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, like it's just not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to have the balance, man. And I just don't see the balance, man. 27 carries between 4 or 5 backs, something like that. Like you got to be able to feed one guy, get him going. You know what I mean? And then let your quarterback balance that out, a couple play action passes here and there. But 45 times a game, I'm just not liking the volume of passes being thrown by some of these quarterbacks, man. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school with it.
It could be old school, or maybe you like, winning football to a degree.
Or maybe it's just football, yeah.
could be that. There's a couple different schools of thoughts there. Justin, your thoughts on Tennessee and Jacksonville?
Tennessee, I like Tennessee. I think they're. I thought they would actually beat them by more, but they hung in. Jacksonville hung in. Jacksonville's a tough team too, man. They just, when they say a team's gonna tank, for some reason they just fight. Like you get a younger team who a bunch of hungry players that are trying to stay on rosters. They seem like they bought in. As much as everybody hates their coach, they seem to keep getting. They can develop players for other teams. So, but, I mean, they're competing. They battle. Minshew's tough, man. I have my doubts on him, but maybe he just part of that thing of just knowing who you are as a player. Like he plays within himself. A lot of these other guys that are with more physical tools are forcing the ball, or he's just confident and plays his game. And Tennessee, I think they could be a contender. I mean, you got the 2 best teams in the league in that conference, but they're right there. They could win the South, get a 3 or 4 seed, and do what they did last year. Get on Henry, and Tannehill's in a good spot because he has Henry. They have a physical team, and take some shots with the play action. You know, and the defense is tough, so you never know.
I'm gonna just add to that real quick. So you see the balance. Tannehill threw the ball 24 times. Henry ran the ball 25 times. See the balance. You see who came out on top. I mean, this is what we've seen for I don't know how long in the NFL. So this is not anything new. So that's I guess that's what my biggest issue with some of these teams is they're relying on the pass way too much. I know a lot of it's because they're trying to play catch up. They're trying to come back. But if you balance it out to begin with, probably wouldn't have that problem so much. Now, granted, Tennessee is a better team than Jacksonville. I think I agree with you, Justin, as far as they could be a contender. You kind of just don't know just because of the division that they're playing in. But they have a better formula than Jacksonville does right now. 45 times from a quarterback, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to work. It's not going to
like you said, though, you got all these young quarterbacks. And like that recipe you're talking about is why are you putting it all on these young guys? You know what I mean? We're putting too much on these young quarterbacks, and then we're mad at them when they throw picks. But you're not meant to throw the ball 45 times, you know? You notice when Tannehill's throwing the ball, it's usually somebody wide open. You know, it's all play action, bootleg, you know, and then you got these other guys trying to read all full field reads, and you're mad at them because he can't do it.
Because he can't do it, right.
All right, we got other member of Sports Ruckus joining us. We got Jesse Pill here, so welcome, Jesse. Not to put you on the spot too quick, but jump in and share your thoughts. We don't really play around here, you know. Just go ahead. If you ain't here, it's too late. Can't go back.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate having me on. I apologize. Had an unexpected visitor, so I always got like that this late at night.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, just to get your quick thoughts before we move on, we're talking Jaguars and Titans. Just your quick thoughts on that one before we move on to Tampa Bay and Carolina.
Both gentlemen actually hit it pretty on the head. Balance was big especially for Tannehill. I mean, you start getting to that point where it starts getting lopsided. The run game's not working right, and then you expect Tannehill to beat the team with his arm or be that guy to carry it. You start getting a little nervous at that point. So that was huge. But I was with Justin on that. Minshew, for a while, I just doubted him. Didn't think he had that thing in him. But they believed him. Jags believe that he has that moxie, believes he has that playing style, believes he makes throws. Because there are certain throws on tape that you see that I honestly didn't think he can make. But he does.
And they believe in him, too. That helps.
Yeah, Justin, I like what you brought up with them. It's kind of like there's somebody else's farm team. They do a great job grooming it, getting it ready to go, fumbling the bag with the contracts. So we're going to see how long they can hold on to C.J. Henderson. You just had Jalen Ramsey. You fumbled that away. So for me, I'm personally already on a C.J. Henderson clock. So he stays there because that young boy is tough. So credit to, it's weird saying this. Shout out to Trent Baalke. He finally got one. He loves height, weight, athleticism. And this time the kid had 2 good ACLs. Worked out. You know, he couldn't do that for us in the Bay at all during your entire tenure there in terms of finding a corner that could walk, chew gum, and play football. But shout out to Jacksonville. C.J. Henderson's a special one. Justin, I saw you tweet earlier, moving Miles Jack to, I don't know, a position that works better for him. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah. Again, right? Yeah.
It's crazy. Just, put someone in a place to succeed and they go nuts. It's wow. We're going to move on, though, because I could talk about Jacksonville and their ability to fumble the bag all day. But we're going to talk about another team that fumbled it, Carolina. This is what you people wanted. You didn't want a guy in New England there anymore, who's currently in New England anymore. Bill Belichick is laughing. He's showing his personality. He's doing commercials. And you guys are doing what you're doing, getting punched by Tampa Bay and Leonard Fournette, Jags. 31-17 Tampa Bay in this one. Rob, we'll start with you, then go to Jesse, then Justin, and go from there.
So I don't know about Carolina, man. I just don't. I love Teddy, but again, 42 times he's throwing the ball. Like, what are we doing? Teddy is still trying to kind of get his legs back, man. Try to get a feel for the position again. He hasn't really played as a starter like that for quite some time. So you're putting the pressure on him by, giving him the ball 42 times, saying, "Hey, do what you do," and it's like, "Oh, I don't know what I do. It's been a while. So can I get some help in the run game?" And then Tampa Bay just took advantage of everything. They did everything they needed to do. Tom Brady still look old. I'm not changing that. He looked old last week. He looked old this week. But I mean, and that's and I get it. He's at that point now. So I don't know how far that team will go as far as the season is concerned, and being anywhere near a playoff or a contender or anything like that. But they pulled it out. They did what they had to do. Carolina, man, they got to figure it out. 0-2 is not a good start to begin this season, man. So I don't know. Leonard Fournette, shout out to him though. He had 103 yards or something like that. Took the ball, told the rock 12 times. That's a good showing. I'll take that all day long. So,
all right, go with you, Jesse.
Somebody had said that the thing's going to stop Tampa Bay would be arthritis. So they said it's going to be that old of a team. And certain points, like you said, with Brady, you could see it. You can literally see moments where he just looks his age. Gronk looks lost. Like, I've never thought I'd say that on the field where he just looks like he doesn't know what to do. The single targets he's getting, he doesn't know, like, okay. He knows, okay, I can get him blocked. But when I get out in the open field, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do this? Like, he just looks so lost out there. And for Carolina, there are still fans that believe Jimmy Clausen is still better than and for those fans, they deserve the 31-17. They deserve every bit of that. So, but I like Teddy. I'm a big fan of his. It's like the way he goes about the game. I like his personality. I like everything about him. So this is kind of tough for me in that sense of watching him struggle a little bit. McCaffrey being out, it's going to be a different situation for them. I don't know what Davis has currently, so it's going to be interesting how that fits. But it's a love-hate relationship I got with Carolina in the sense of, again, I loved Cam, so I want him to succeed there. For them not to happen is tough. For Teddy, not to be where he is currently is tough. But for those still on that fence with Cam, I hope you see it now. I hope you understand it.
Justin.
Like just said, I think Teddy's has all those traits, but he's not a 42 pass guy. You know what I mean? Teddy's the game manager. You know what I mean? He's decently athletic. You have weapons around him. You pay McCaffrey all that money, buddy. The ball should be going to McCaffrey, and Teddy working off of that. But when you start putting the ball in his hands, asking him to do different things, do too much, you have problems. Not to mention he's had injury problems. And Tampa's a defensive team. Tampa's strength is his defense. No one wants to admit it, but all those weapons, quarterback's old, and we're gonna make excuses for all these. I don't know if you've seen that flea flicker. Guy was like 50 yards downfield, and Tom threw a 37. And dude made a great diving catch. And somehow it's his fault he didn't get to the end zone. Then there was another. I don't know if you've seen another play. I guess they got some track guy. Had him going down the sideline, and Tom hit him on the top of the head with the ball. And everyone was like, "Yeah, that's why he don't put speed out there because he can't catch." I'm like, he was on the white when it hit his head. Like, you could have let him. You could have thrown it in the field to play. Like, easy catch, and the guy runs in for touchdown. So, we could play the game, and, he's the GOAT. But at the end of the day, that's it's not that time it may have passed. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good win for Tampa Bay because they needed it. But it's a struggle bus for them, man. It's one of those things where they got a whole bunch of people that aren't what they are. And I don't think they can go back to being what they are. And nobody wants to say it out loud. And the sad part is that young defense, they're super fast. They're barely a little bit more disciplined than they were last year, but it's still not a really good defense. Like, I'm not to be mean. It's still a bad defense. They're just young and fast. And that's why it's not a great defense, because they're not disciplined. They're one play action away from giving you everything you want. Right. And that just, again, goes to Matt Rule in Carolina. You should have had that young defense eating out the palm of your head.
Right.
Like, literally show them the ball, take it away, and they're all going. That's Tampa Bay's defense. And as for the offensive side, everyone, Tampa Bay fans were just laughing about, signing Leonard Fournette. That might be your savior to get through this. Because sadly, it's about to be ground and pound. All the fun, the weapons and all the fun stuff they got out there. If they don't do anything outside of ground and pound, it's not going to happen. And almost a blessing for them that the fact that Chris Godwin's not healthy right now. So people can really see how bad Tom looks. Because there's one thing, Mike Evans don't stretch the field too much. It's cool. You can be like, we just be big. Mike Evans, smash, whatever. You get Chris Godwin out there, my man's just wide open, getting no targets.
Right.
It gets interesting now. But another story, another day. Obviously, also not my issue. Tampa Bay, you enjoy what you have. Denver and Pittsburgh. Steelers, I think they're 2-0 now. Shout out to them. Denver's kind of a fun team too, but they've been hit by injuries. They're super young. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tuning into Denver games like all year just to watch Judy and Hamler. I have no other reason to tune in. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. So if you ask me about Denver, if you don't ask about those two, I have nothing to offer you. And I'm also gonna laugh because you signed Blake Bortles, as if you don't know what that is. So that's where I'm at with Denver. You can at me, it's Willie T Speaks. I probably won't respond outside of memes, gifts from the LOL part of it because you signed Blake Bortles. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Of all the things in the world, you signed someone who can't do anything with anything. You deserve what you get. And sadly, I feel bad for Vic Fangio of all things. Is you finally get your chance coaching. Last year, you lose Chubb. This year, you get Chubb back. Bond's gone. And then, you got Drew and all these young toys. It's going to be fun to office and grow and gel. Drew's gone. And then, unfortunately for you guys, there's no backup plan for Drew. It was Drew Lock. And, yeah. So we're here now with the Steelers. Ben looks old, too. Hate to be that guy. He also looks old. I know they're winning, but that's more to do with, TJ and Minka and company. Shout out to their defense.
Defense is nice.
And the crazy part of Pittsburgh that's so mad at me, they got some weapons outside. But again, none of my business. We can start with you, Jesse, and then go to Justin and Rob about what y'all think about the Steelers taking care of the Broncos.
Well, the Steelers, I think you're hitting something big as far as the Ben goes. They try to get, make us believe because of the weight loss and taking his body, and having the time off, this should be a different year. But I keep thinking the colder it gets, the more his age is going to show. So if that running game isn't right at that particular point, there's gonna be a problem, and it's gonna be evident. So that's something that they got to look at and take care of, and make sure that they know what's behind Ben and what's in front of Ben at this point, and make sure that both of those things are tied up. Denver, it's crazy. I'm so excited about that offense, but everybody's getting hurt, so it's I'm waiting for this present to come, and it's just not coming. It's like Amazon previous to this, COVID. I'd order stuff on Amazon and they come right away. So I was waiting for it, and that's how I feel right now. It's coming. I know it's coming, but it's just, when does it happen? So when all these kids get healthy and they start to get back on the page again, and I want to see the offense completely together. I want to see Fant. I want to see all the receivers. I want to see Judy running the routes. He had a release last week that was insane. And it's I want to see that consistently. But without everybody being healthy, I'm just getting pieces.
Justin?
Pittsburgh's got a good team, man. That's the type of team I think they can go big game hunting. They can knock out KC, they can knock out Baltimore, maybe not both, but that's the type of team that can show up and play with anybody. But it's just the whole Super Bowl run scares me because you're relying on Ben. When he might have lost weight, but he looked the same. Still, his style of play. He's not gonna be a pocket guy. He's gonna run. He's gonna break the pocket when he shouldn't. He threw a pass that changed the momentum of that whole game. That was inches from being a blowout, and he decides to just throw the ball straight up in the air. And next thing you know, you're playing defense. With the game on the line. Fortunately, that's a dominant defense. So that's a plus. I love Deontay Johnson. The guy Claypool looks like he might be a player. And then Juju's tough. So And I mean that's a solid team with a good defense that's going to carry them. Hopefully we'll see how far, but it looks like a real threat. And then Denver's they're in a weird spot. You said I think Sutton's out for the season, and I think I haven't seen much of him, and then Judy's been in and out, and they got Gordon and the other running back like that. That's a loaded offense. I mean, they got a loaded offense, but if you can't get them all together, what do you just back picking early again? And by the time you get the offense right, now the defenders are getting old. You already lost Chris Harris, and Von Miller's got another injury. And Chubb's coming off an injury, so you fix this offense, and then you'll be fixing that defense for the next 3 years. So,
Rob.
I mean, I agree with you guys. Ben also looks old, and they have a good team, like you said. But as long as he's playing that quarterback position right now, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in him being able to win Super Bowl. Like they'll be able to have a good season, and they'll make it through and possibly get to the playoffs, but it's not going to be anything they're going to be celebrating at the end of the day. You're going to have to make a change at that position soon. And you can see it. It's showing, just like you said, Jesse, with Tom, there's certain things he does. You go, ooh, you old. You old. Like, I get it. I feel you old, but it's not going to work. You got these weapons that you can't use because that guy's old. But the defense is going to actually be what's going to hold them up and get them throughout the season. As far as Denver is concerned, I also was excited to see what Denver had, especially because I got Judy on my fantasy squad because it was a sleeper. Nobody was looking at him. I'm going, are y'all stupid? That's okay. I'll grab him. And he's been solid so far. But now with Locke going down, it's hard to tell. You got Driscoll, and then you have Bortles.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. So you don't have an NFL quarterback.
I don't get the Bortles sign. Like, I get it, but I don't. Because there had to be somebody else out there you could have signed outside of Bortles, man. Like, you've seen what he's able to do, which is absolutely not much, but, hey, man, like you said, it ain't my problem. That's Denver's problem. They're going to have to figure that out.
What does he put on tape that has you saying, you know what, let's call Blake?
Right. Like, it's just like, is it his name? Is it just the name thing? Like, he's a good guy.
The AFC Championship run. Like, yeah, he played in the AFC Championship game once.
I think somebody in that front office had him on his fantasy team in 2017, and they remember that. And they said, they're just like, wait a minute. I won with him, Allen Robinson, and I could do that. I could do that again.
Right.
His name's in the B's, so maybe that's the front of the book.
Right.
You know what?
Like, you have film. You see it. You can look back. You see how bad that was.
It's right in front of your face.
Yeah. It'd be like that sometimes, man. It's why some teams just, stay in the places they are for cycles at times. My last thing just with the Steelers, one thing that I think could like a potential X factor to kind of help them a little bit, kind of take it back. Y'all remember the fast Willie Parker days? So I think they got something like that, only a little bit better than Anthony McFarland if the kid gets healthy. That's something where you can kind of be like, and Ben's used to this. Like, you got your first Super Bowl by not throwing a whole lot, so you used to this. Mike knows that playbook because if they can, and this is also on Anthony McFarland, but honestly feel like I'm not saying he's a tier 1 or tier 2 running back in this league by no means, but the kid's a 3-down player, and for something like Pittsburgh with all those weapons outside, and the fact you can use him in the passing game, if you can get the most out of him, it can keep you can kind of try to limit your risk of Ben being Ben. Be like, here, brother, hand it off. Or when you're about to do some wild stuff, here's your running back that can catch. Before you do the super wild stuff, dump it like Anthony's right there. Look, he's right there. I promise. You don't got to do the super wild stuff. Do mildly wild things. Check down. But a lot of that still comes to Ben, especially with an older quarterback. Check downs might be your best friend right now. But on to this is ugly. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia. It's about to get interesting out there in a little while. Because draft day, folks was like, oh, why'd you spend a pick on a certain person? And we hear it. We are here now. 37-19 lose to the Rams. I'm not mad that you lost to the Rams. You're missing some wide receivers. I understand that, and it seemed like the direction they went to go with wide receiver was like, kind of go the KC route, low key, like the Dollar Tree KC route. We're like, we're just going to put a whole bunch of fast cars out here, and we're going, you can't cover them all. The problem is with fast cars, man, they're more liable to get bad wheels more often than other types of cars. And right now, I knew Marquise Goodwin wasn't going to play this year because of what he's been through personally, coming from the Niners. I knew I was going to be shocked if he played this year, honestly. So when the news came that he was going to play, I understood that. Then, I think Rager, they had to put Rager on IR, which sucks for them too. They're in a place with wide receivers where it's just really ugly. And then like the line's kind of going through it. And then you don't really have, like, at times the Eagles always kind of had a bell cow you could turn around and just hand it to kind of get you through some rough times. And they don't have that right now. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do. And then I think Carson kind of feels the heat a little bit for the first time. We're like, you won a Super Bowl and it wasn't him. Cool, I get that, understand that. But that wasn't pressure because you never had to worry about anybody on your team that could push you for playing time, right? You have now entered a dangerous place. The cap goes down next year, brother. Love you to death. Decisions going to be made next year for teams, and some of these decisions, players are going to make for them. I'm be real honest. You and all your money, or that little kid that I ain't got to pay nothing to, or trading you for something, and my cap still goes down. And then I could go get more wide receivers and things of that nature. And also, no disrespect to him, where the league's kind of going, you got one of those possibly behind him, right? That's comfortable with where the league's going. And I think Carson sometimes, I think he's kind of what him do is where you kind of, we were just talking about Ben, right? Where sometimes like they're so good off schedule sometimes, they don't know how to just stay on schedule. Like they feel like I got to be off schedule, right? And it's like, dude, look, I love you to death. Bro, throw the 10-yard in. It's okay. It's all right. You see that drag? Dude run like a 4.2. It's okay. Just dump the ball off. And it's like, it's a huge arm, everything, and trying to like, how young Ben was trying to live with the dudes draped over him and making plays. You ain't got to do all that. And I kind of feel bad for him because I kind of think where this is going. And then, I saw Peterson's quote today, and that wasn't a really good thing either. But, as soon as coaches start talking, have you ever done this in the league, no matter what the sport? You feel it too, sir. You're tied to him too. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But whoever wants to start, y'all can start with this. But what's it called? Jared Goff was out there being productive. So
yeah, you know what? And I was actually gonna say Jared Goff, 20 for 27, 267, 3 tutties. I mean, I was never really a big fan of his, but he did his job. That's it. Just do your job. And I think he's starting to get it. The first 2 games, he's actually looked like he's just out there to do his job and let these guys do theirs. Get your running backs involved, get your receivers involved, and everything's going to come into play. Defense is going to do what they do. You have one of the best defensive linemen in the league, in Aaron Donald, and he's gonna wreak havoc. So he got your back. Just take care of the ball. You'll get in the end zone, and just make sure it's balanced, man. And then on the other side of that, Philly, bye Carson. It's over, bro. Like it's a wrap, man. You didn't win the Super Bowl with Philly. You got them there, sure, but you didn't win that. You didn't win that with them. You were hurt, and then since you've been back, you ain't really showed. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't seen much out of Carson to make me go, he's got something. I can see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it, man. I think he overthinks the position sometimes too much. Like you said, take what's given to you. Take the dump off, man. The 10-yard outs, the drag routes, the arrow routes. You don't have to throw the ball down the field all the time. And guess what? He had 2 picks in that game. Bad decision making. Like, come on, what are we waiting for on this? Something's got to change, and I don't think he's the guy for the job, at least not right now. Maybe later on down the line, after sitting behind somebody else, you'll have a wake-up call going, all right, I had my opportunity. I didn't do what I needed to do. Now I have another chance, but I don't think he's it as a starter. Not right now, at least.
Yeah, I think he's caught in a weird spot where the game's changing. He's the picture of what it's supposed to look like, or what it was supposed to look like. You know what I mean? So golf is him and golf are probably really similar players, but golf is running an offense, a system.
Yeah.
Like the coaches, that's McVay's team. You know what I mean? And golf is, hey, get the ball here. McVay's telling golf, hey, probably might even be telling him during the play. You know, he's telling him we're setting him up with the run game and easy completions. That's how you go 19 for 20. You know what I mean? He's not when he throws downfield, it's because the guy was schemed open. Whereas Wentz they're trying to make him into. He's at the point. I mean, it doesn't help that you got all these injuries and all that, but
Right.
you got two quality tight ends. You got a running back. That's how you made the playoffs last year. You know, stop trying. I understand you want to be KC, but you got to play to your strengths. You know, use Sanders and take your checkdowns. If you can't run the ball, use checkdowns. But I think that's where they're at with Wentz, and like you say, also all the comparisons, the Dak and different other guys. He's probably trying to do a little too much. And
Yeah, overthinking.
It's gonna cost him his job. One other thing was watching. Did you see Hurts come in and they had him running fake jet sweeps and why wouldn't you just let Rager or somebody run around and take a fake? It didn't make any sense to me. That was just foolishness. But I don't know. But yeah, that's all I.
Made him walk away after that one. Lord.
I should be doing walking away from after that. Justin knows. I sent him essays on the Eagles on Monday. It's being an Eagles fan. It's just all right. So
take your time.
All right. So let me start this way. First of all, I honestly think that they miss Frank Wright and DeFilippo more than they're actually saying. It's something to where Carson needs a coach to sit there and say, okay, I'm not going to blast you in public, but when we get into that film room, trust me, you're about to hear every word I got to say in front of everybody in front of this team. Your technique is terrible. Your footwork is terrible. Stop throwing a ball off balance like that when you step up into the pocket. Stop going deep instead of going short. Like there are certain things, that whole adage of, you don't go broke taking a profit. Thank you. So he doesn't do that. He has, like I said, two great tight ends. He has running backs that catch the ball on the field. They can design plays to get receivers open, and they're not doing that either. So they're not helping them. What they're doing is they saw Nick Foles, and they knew what he could and what he couldn't do, and plays around that. And that's why that team looks so good in the first, after Carson got hurt. But as soon as they get Carson, they want to open up the whole playbook. And then they don't want to hold him accountable for the little things that he does during the game that drive me insane. In the Washington game, the thing that drove me, it wasn't even the pick. The pick was bad. It was the sack he took for no apparent reason. Yep. I don't understand what you're doing in that. You're fading back. You have a chance to throw the ball in a bounce, and you take a sack and take your team out of field goal range. Now you're hurting your team beyond normal. Like that's beyond something that's rookie stuff. That's stuff I expect that from Burrow, and Burrow's not doing that. So you're in year 5. Like this is something you're supposed to be done with. So this team's at a point where they're about a loss or two away from, Doug Peterson hearing the vote of confidence from the front office, which usually means the next step is you out of here.
Right. Right. You know what? Just another thing on that is just like you look at a team like the Rams, and you can't name anyone on the Rams defense besides Donald and Ramsey. So it just shows you how big a part that offense plays. You know what I mean? That ball control, like we talked about, running the ball and not having your quarterback throw the ball too much. It can keep the defense off the field, and now your defense that looks a lot better than it really is. I mean, you played what was thought of as two solid teams, and the Rams look like a defense looks efficient. Looks like a good defense when, we'll see when they start playing teams that can stop them. But
I think those guys bought in too, though, man. I think they know what they have as far as those two pieces on the defensive side. They go, look, let them do what they do, and all we gotta do is make sure we do our job, and we'll be fine. And they're finding out that's actually working. Just do your job, keep your technique. It's not really, hard to do. You really, if you have those two pieces like you do, one in Ramsey and the other one in Donald, thank you. You have those two guys, just let them lead the way. They're going to open up everything else for you for those defensive linemen. I know they love playing with Donald because it's like, I know y'all about to go after him. I should either have a one-on-one or be wide open, free, raining after the quarterback or stop and run. It's not a hard formula, man. So I think those guys bought in. I actually like what their defense is doing right now. Like you said, though, you can't really name too many guys on the defense outside of Ramsey and Donald, but the fact is that they all bought in and it's actually working for them right now. Right. Don't help that Philly is not playing good ball. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry. I know you're a fan, but trust me, you get to my team, you talk your trash too, because I get it. But it's just being honest.
You're 100% right. The great part about having Aaron Donald on our front line too is I'm thinking about playing linebacker. That's gotta be fun. Oh, it's gotta be fun. Like, because you're clean. Everything now is clean. It's after I watched what Aaron Donald, and sometimes I get reminded how great he is. What he did to that Dallas offensive line in one play. You sit as a linebacker going, I don't have to deal with any of that. I can just run to the ball. Yeah. I don't have to worry about stack or shed. I don't have to worry about using my hands too much. It's all free. So being able to run like that, it's got to be amazing too. And that takes pressure also off of your corners. Your safeties is great. I mean, they can cheat a little bit here and there. And Ramsey's going to do great things on the outside anyway. Yeah. But now give him that guy, it changes things.
Changes the game.
Yeah, it's only two of them, but you got to think about it. So you got one dude who's a whole pass rush by himself. You got another dude who take away either people or sides of the field as they please. So you put those things together. I'm not throwing at Jalen unless the scheme is right. And that's if I got the time to scheme someone open to throw at Jalen. Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. So
I saw it. They thought, was it no completions against Ramsey on Sunday, or maybe even no attempts? One of the two. I
mean, that's the other. Like, you got to think about it. So my team's got away with doing that, and we don't have Jalen Ramsey. We got a very old gentleman on one side of the field. People tried him like 7 times the whole season.
Right.
Like, folks, just being honest, I love Sherm to death, but it's Uncle Sherm for a reason right now. We do not have LOB Sherm. That's Uncle Sherm. And people still ain't messing with that. So I know they're not throwing at Jalen.
Right.
That young boy in his prime, man. Ain't nobody messing with him. Unless you want to take that L, that's completely up to you. They got a nice thing going up there. We can get through this next game real quick, man. Niners beat the Jets 31-13. Everybody on the Niners died. Moving on. Yeah. Y'all go ahead and see what y'all got to say.
You can say, and the Jets are bad. And the Jets are bad.
Right. And that's pretty much it.
My bad. My one takeaway. Could we NFL, same as we laughing about Blake Bortles getting signed, how's Adam Gase still a coach, man? This man's horrible at everything.
Okay.
He's horrible at everything. I just want to say it. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's horrible. Y'all accidentally drafted, and I'm not out here to protect Sam Darnold, just being real. That boy out there with no lifeline. The only blessing you have is you accidentally draft potentially a Hall of Fame left tackle in Mekhi Benton. Potentially. That boy nice. You got him. You got Darnold. Who, unlike some other quarterbacks we talked about a little bit earlier, I think he can do a lot of things, but it's not a system. There's nothing. Like, I don't know what you tell him to drop back and locate Braxton Berrios. Failure.
Yeah.
Drop back and locate Rashad Perryman. Failure. Looking at defense they got. We still here talking about Aaron Donald. And what's young boy? Quentin Williams. Oh, Lord, they got some fun stuff over there. And again, if you only had a coach that could coach offense, that was actually, the words people use to describe Adam Gase, none of which are true. Like genius, savant, offensive mind, all these horrible things people want to use, none of them. Because there's actually skill position players in New York. He just doesn't know what to do with any of them. So as a fan of a team that none of the skill position players were available. I watched our coach figure out what to do with nothing but tight ends and running backs. And y'all got, the Jets. You got people when Denzel Mims get back. Speed. You got Perryman, speed. You try to tell me it's hard to just, run the ball and play action with dudes that are flying up the sidelines, and you got a couple of quietly underrated tight ends. Like, this is literally just gross negligence because you hired a fool. You have a competent team. And my team won by a lot. I'm just being real. Like, y'all should be ashamed. I love Frank Gore to death. You can't even figure out how to use Frank Gore. And that's just add water. It's literally been add water since he's been in the league. Oh, look, there's some grass. Here's the ball. Frank Gore, folks, you messed that up. It's 4th and 1, and that's the one that killed me. No disrespect. I know DeForest Buckner's not in there no more. I know all this stuff, different change, man. There's just like you wouldn't run up the middle against the Rams. You wouldn't run at Aaron Donald. There's no reason in hell we watched people do it all last year for no good reason. You are not running up the gut against the Niners in short yardage.
Right.
What the hell were you thinking?
You weren't thinking.
Like, tell me where you saw a place where someone was going to be moved. And last year, people couldn't do it without them big bodies. They didn't have a 330-pound kid next to another 320-pound kid. Again, love DeForest Buckner to death. That boy light. And you couldn't run up the middle. What the hell is you doing? All that room on the outside, y'all want to run at Fred Warner.
Sure.
That's an offensive genius. Like seriously, that's an offensive genius. Like, I feel bad for y'all, man, and I'm actually about to be out here trying to protect Sam Darnold. This is how weird 2020 is weird because my man is like it is 2020 has done that. I am now a Sam Darnold protector because that's what Sunday did to me. Like, it's not even his fault. My man can move a little bit, got some good arm talent, just ain't got nothing to throw to, and you ain't got a plan. And again, we ain't got nobody you should be scared to throw to. You out here throwing at the sticks. I love Emmanuel Mosley. If you don't test that boy, 3rd and 15, what did the Chiefs do? Super Bowl me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? He's gonna bite. I love the kid. He's gonna bite. What are you doing? So if I know that, what was you watching tape-wise?
Right.
What you doing? I love my man Spoon to death. That's my guy. You ain't try that boy for 4 quarters?
Yeah.
You want to try Jimmy and Fred and Kwaski? That don't make no sense. You should have been throwing outside the numbers for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
You probably would have had 25 points just because one of them 2 kids would have did something stupid.
Well, no one Spoon was scared to get ran by because he didn't want to get benched again.
Exactly. Like, what's it called? I know exactly the play you was talking about. He read the 2-1 like a champ, and then instead of taking the ball, was like, knock him down. And that's what she was scared to throw to.
As soon as they snap, he just run into the end zone.
I don't understand, but I feel for y'all Jets fans, man. Y'all going through it. Shout out to Adam Gase ruining franchises every stop he goes. He probably had a new that dude is horrible. So trash. I remember
ruining franchises, ruining lives. People in Miami were mad, and I'm like, you live in Miami.
Right.
Just mad. I understand because I keep going back to that press conference and looking at Adam Gase that we should all know him like right then.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna be bad, and it's in New York. Like, this should not be a thing. But he got two chances at this.
He's about to get a third. Somebody else gonna do it. Somebody. It's how it works. Like, if you're there, he's getting a third.
Yeah.
He's getting a third, and he's gonna do bad there too. But we're gonna move on. I feel bad for Jets fans. I should be mourning my injuries, but y'all got it worse. Y'all healthy and just not gonna be nothing. I would be so sad. Like, my team died and I'm okay. Y'all are alive and still dead. That is crazy.
Yeah, you got a 53-man roster, and we go and name 5 dudes on your team. Like, that's
But like at the beginning of that week or at least of the weekend, didn't they crash into the plane, and then on Monday the MRI truck broke down. Like, dude, what the hell?
And stuff's still not working. and you put up and you got a courtesy 6 at the end of the game.
Man,
Trash. It was so bad. Hey, look, Rob, you know how bad it was. They was the biggest. The Chris Kasarik was out here doing freaking freaking space physics, trying to figure out how to play 4 defensive tackles for 4 quarters. They won't go help edge rushers. And that's in an offensive mind. No, there's 4 fat dudes with bellies, and you can't figure it out.
right.
You ain't go outside zone not one time. We're gonna run up the middle. We're gonna run up the middle. Oh, you're not trying to make it at all. Kerry Hyder out here looking like a whole defensive tackle. He's at end.
Right.
Maybe a street way like 310 end. And you still running up the middle. I feel bad for you Jets fans, but y'all deserve it too at the same time. Make better life decisions. I used to be a Knicks fan, and I stopped. You can do the same.
Yeah, I'm still there.
Prove your lives. 31-28. Josh Allen and company beat the Dolphins. You guys' thoughts on that one real quick? I have nothing because Josh Allen is apparently the second coming, and this is what we have to accept. You guys can go. I'm telling you what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't want no smoke from Buffalo, so I'm gonna let that ride. Because I know how they ride, and I know how that fan base acts. So Josh is less accurate. I'm less inaccurate. He threw a great deep ball. Diggs played well. Is there anything else in Buffalo I need to say, y'all? So y'all know.
I think that's it. I think you're good.
I think that about covers it. Robert, Justin.
So Miami, they got to make the switch, man. They got to make the switch. They got to put the rookie in. Like Fitzpatrick, I don't understand why we're still riding this wave, man. Like, and he threw the ball 47 times. Like, what? Like, why? Why this guy? Come on, man. Like, y'all not gonna win football games like that. Y'all 0-2. This team, for too long, they have gone through so many woes, and it's like they don't know how to fix it. It's almost like watching Cleveland, and Cleveland not being able to fix their issues. And it's like, when are you gonna figure it out? When are you gonna get it? Because you keep making bad decision after bad decision, and Fitzpatrick is not the guy. It's at least not anymore. Maybe he was good at one point, but this is not where you want to start now. You 0-2, make the switch, put the young boy 2 in, and just let him work. If he's healthy, he should be playing. Simple as that.
I agree.
And that's what makes me question: is he actually fully healthy? Because if he's not, then okay, then we got to worry about that. But if he is fully healthy, then what kind of like collateral does Fitzpatrick have? Because for some reason, because why else sit on this? You've already seen this a ton of times in different teams. Yeah. Like you're waiting for that streak where he goes on, he throws 4 touchdowns in that game. The next 3 touchdowns next game, but after those 2 games, he has 5 more that are terrible. So why are we still doing this?
He's
My fault. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers.
Well, you know what? I think
so it was to get out of jail free.
He's bad. He's just like you can't be 40 years old and making the same mistakes. He's making rookie mistakes at 40. That's right. So if you're gonna make rookie mistakes, play the rookie. And then not to get back to Buffalo, but I was gonna ask, is Josh Allen good? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's that perfect player that he's in the right situation because it's a good defense. He's going to heave one up for them. He's going to heave one up for you. And if you balance that out, like I don't know if you saw the end of the game, they're trying to run the clock out. He just drops back and throws the ball about 70 yards, and it should right to the defender, and he dropped it. Next play does the same thing, and it's a touchdown. So I mean, like that's just who he's going to be. I don't think. Maybe you can fix a couple things, but the teammates love him. He's just a reckless player, but he has the talent that's going to keep him with a job. And as long as that defense is the way it is, and you got Diggs, you got guys like that, they should be they might win the division, or they might 9-7, 10-6.
Yeah, I think what you said is right. It's a perfect situation, and they just accepted he is who he is.
Yeah.
That's why you go get Stephon Diggs. Go get somebody where when the ball's up, they're thinking it's 90-10 mine. Yeah. Because essentially that's what your quarterback throwing up anyways, right? Right. Somebody that wants it. Right. So, I mean, I didn't think anything more than that where they were like, man, look, we're not even going to try to waste our time trying to change the dude too much. I'm serious. You are who you are. There's some things he brings to the table. His ability to run and his physicality, the size, all that stuff. You can't really bring. Too many people don't have that, that it doesn't come in that package. Unfortunately, it means you got to live with some of the stupid things he does.
Yeah.
That's why you build your defense. You got one wide receiver you're going to pay, and you're going to rotate the other dudes. You're probably going to always make sure, one of the biggest traits when you're scouting receivers for Buffalo.
Catch radius.
Catch radius. Make sure you go get dudes who put up dumb production with horrible throwers.
Yeah.
I'm not even being funny.
That's a good point, though. Oh, that's a good point.
Because that's literally, if you can do enough to get on NFL, if you can do enough to get into the league, playing with somebody who can't throw you the ball on a regular basis, you'll be fine. Josh Allen is at least 3 times better than what you had in college, right?
What does it say that Diggs is happy to be with Allen? What did I say about Kirk Cousins?
Oh, we're about to get to that right now. We're about to get to that. Oh, yeah. The Colts beat the Minnesota.
It's a can of worms that just got opened up in my house somewhere. I don't know.
You said what?
It's a can of worms that got opened up in my house.
Even the house knows what it is. 28-11, the Colts beat the Vikings. This is one of those situations where, not really talk about with Carson. Minnesota kind of at least with Carson, it was young, right? And what Philadelphia did. I'm not mad at you because the kid was young. And you have an opportunity to mold him and do things. Minnesota, however, you did this with somebody old. You knew exactly the type of quarterback you were getting. But to be mature here, you know exactly the type of quarterback you were getting. And then not only did you double down on it, you triple downed on it. And then now you spent a high pick on Justin Jefferson. And dude is too afraid to throw to anybody but the freaking tight ends and Thielen. Sometimes you just reap what you sow. And Mike Zimmer's another one of them dudes where, oh man, he's whatever. I don't get the big deal. This is Mike Zimmer stuff. The defense is supposed to be elite. Okay. Okay. Then you play good coordinators, not out of them cases, but the actual good ones, and they tap dance over your grave every year in the playoffs. Just insert different name. Oh, it's a Mike Zimmer defense. They're well coached. You call the same plays the same way the entire time you've been a coach and a defense coordinator. It's so bad. Kyle probably out there pulling up old tape like, man, we're going to run one from 2013 this year. I bet you still ain't going to stop it. I guarantee you they was probably eeny, meeny, mighty. They was probably drawing straws for random run plays against Minnesota last year. And then you saw what Green Bay did to him last week, right? Yeah. Where Matt LaFleur come from? What you think they were doing? Oh, man, we're going to spread y'all out and have some fun. Right. Y'all couldn't do this against Jimmy ain't even had a throw. We're going to let Aaron throw, though. Come get this one. He's horrible. It's a bad coach. It's a bad quarterback. And you're stuck. This is who you are. You are freaking stuck. Honestly, I couldn't even. Is Minnesota that much better than Detroit?
No.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being so honest, right? Are they better than Detroit? I know if I had to throw bread at either Kirk Cousins and Matt Stafford, I can go to sleep at night knowing I threw bread at Matt Stafford. I can breathe. You got a dude out here, man. All them Dalvin Cook's dual threat running back. You can use that boy so many different ways. What do the Colts have great on defense that you got 11 points? Y'all could go. I'm just curious. The Colts is to you.
It's awful. And you got Phillip Rivers keep trying to give you the ball. He keeps trying to give you the ball.
That was
every time I turn around, he's trying to give you, he's here, take it. and somehow y'all still keep. I feel bad for Eric Kendricks. I love the way he plays football, and I knew one of the things that always bugged me was, I played with Justin, so I always knew like behind me, Justin was, I was a security blanket. Ball goes over my head, I'm not worried about it because I knew he was back there. I played with some bad safeties before and some bad corners. Whenever the ball went up, I just turned around, and I was like, "This is about to be bad." And I don't even think it's even the players. I think it's the scheme. And you let Phillip Rivers drop 28 on you?
Yeah.
It's just so strange to me that you have that kind of talent on a team and it's still this. It's still always the same thing. So I don't get it.
Well, you couldn't pay your secondary because you had to pay Cousins, so they all left because Cousins got their money.
Yeah.
Such a horrible investment. Such a horrible investment. All these fun things coming into the league, and you threw your bread behind that.
But remember why they gave it. Remember why they gave it to him, though. Remember that this was when what was it? They made the NFC Championship game because they beat the Saints, so they're one player away, and they gave Kirk that guaranteed money, and
Bruh.
now you're
I got to say, Case Keenum would never.
Yeah.
Case Keenum is going out with that ball getting thrown to whoever's open. He ain't going out like this. 11. Case was out there with his Josh Allen. He was like, man, look, whichever one of y'all between Thielen and Diggs, not single coverage. Oh, it was that easy. Kirk out here like, check down. I was just following my reads. You're horrible. You're horrible. One of the
that means you read very well because the man was left.
Or the system you were in was so paid by numbers, it had everybody thinking you was nice. But then again, I can understand because that system also had Nick Mullins looking like he was okay.
Right.
A couple years ago. So what does that mean for Kirk? Nick Mullins was out there dealing. Somebody
but you were still 8-8 at best.
Yeah, that's the stuff. Green Bay punished Detroit 42-21. I don't really think there's anything else to really comment on about the Green Bay thing except they're rolling. It's early on. My biggest thing with them is to see how they do when the schedule gets a little bit thicker, to see if they don't revert back to Green Bay, because it's just like, for me, like Green Bay and the Saints, just something about them that when stuff gets a little thick, they're gonna go back to being who they are. It's never quite enough in those moments sometimes. So I'm anxious to see how Fleur is going to kind of count that. A lot of people are laughing during the offseason when, it's kind of like they went to more of a – they went to go get folks who are a little bit more gritty and dirty to do the things like block. And it's through 2 games. It looks like, silly stuff like that pays off. They're doing a lot of different things to the team. We're seeing them with the ghost motions, a lot of stuff that looks familiar to, stuff in the Bay and stuff in L.A., because he's from that same tree. But again, the difference is you got the better quarterback of all the 3 guys that, out of the 3 guys that share that system that come from that tree in terms of you got Aaron Rodgers. The other one got Jimmy. The other one got Jared. So, I mean, you got the leg up in that regard. It's just about the around them. And then, of those quarterbacks, who kind of like plays their part. But you definitely got the most gifted one out of the 3. So I'm interested to see what he does because you got a chance if you can avoid doing what you normally do, which is fumble bag. But early on, everything looks great. Got Dallas and Atlanta. That was just horrible. I've never seen something so crazy where it was like that stupid thing like it was lava. Like the ball was lava. Like you just had to fall on the ball, the game's over. What were you doing? I didn't get it, but y'all can share y'all thoughts on how that game ended real quick. Move on. That was wild. That was really wild.
I can tell you this: with coaching Little League since 2008, I get when kids don't know to fall on the ball. I think it was my first year coaching. There was a couple times we had a couple of those kind of plays where it's like they were just standing there, and so that's something you work on in practice. Didn't really happen that much after that. I've had the onside kick come to us and the kid not be able to jump on it. They tried, but they knew what to do. They just couldn't get it done. I didn't feel like Atlanta knew what to do. Like, I really felt like Atlanta was lost and was looking at the ball as if they didn't need it. And it was the weirdest thing in the world. I'm sitting there looking at that, and I'm trying to figure it out in my head, and I'm making up all these weird excuses going, well, maybe, nah, that wouldn't make sense. Well, maybe, nah, that's just dumb. Okay, so they're just bad. Okay, because it just doesn't fall on the ball. What are you doing? You just have to fall on the ball. The game's over, like you said, and you can't figure that out. Man, thank God for Matt Ryan having a great fantasy day, and I'm not a fan of Atlanta. That's all I can say. Because that team was terrible, man. Like, how does that happen? Like, you do that twice within one person's lifetime, where you have to come back. Like, what? Come on, man. Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. I don't know who, but somebody got to go, man. Front office, coaching staff, somebody got to go. That's too much. I'm done. Go ahead.
I think that was the equivalent of like when you tell a kid to run home, and they come around third, they run home. But I feel like maybe Dallas tricked them into found a way to keep Atlanta and prevent the whole game and stole it at the end. It just doesn't happen. Like as a Cowboys fan, I don't really feel good about it, but it worked out. You know, you played the right team, and they gave it to you. I mean, they went for a 2-point conversion when it was 26-10, and I said, why are they going for 2 here? It's too early. You might as well just. And of course, they lost by 1. Like it just, it's like Atlanta went for the 2, and somehow I had a feeling it would bite them, and it did. But it's just, I mean, you don't believe in curses, but some teams just have an ability to find a way to lose games that you would think are unlosable. You know, those ESPN metrics of 100% mean nothing anymore. You know, and I got a 99% chance they win this game, and they found a way, man. That's a talented offense. I mean, you hate to think about you're gonna have playoffs. You're not gonna have Julio Jones. You're not gonna have Ridley. I mean, even Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. I mean, some of these teams are talented off. You score 40 points and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and you lost. That's insane. And like you said, I hate to say it, but somebody probably does need to lose their job.
Yeah.
A few people, maybe.
I'm sure somebody will.
We'll see what Dallas. I don't trust them either. So we'll see.
That's the weird part about that game is you got to be an Atlanta fan. Like you seriously just have to like pain. Like you have to be totally cool with it. Like you have to like it because that or disappointment because you can't have that many things happen to you in one lifetime. Like all the bad stuff in one particular. Just defensive player of the year does something crazy for a Super Bowl. Then you have, you had the 23 loss that's become a natural thing now. That's a meme for everybody. Then the dumbest possible loss I think I've ever seen. Sunday was bad. Like that's the worst loss that I've ever seen. It's bad being dumb. I don't know how you have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. You have a good quarterback. I don't know how you keep doing this.
It's bad.
It's a talent.
Yeah, definitely.
At this point, it's a talent. And also, talking about folks with jobs, Dan Quinn doesn't need to get another one either.
No,
all this stuff under his watch. Like, I hate to be the person, it's you, Pete Carricote, yada, yada, yada. You're not Pete. This is a failure, dude. Like, this is horrible. Like, to me, this is a fireable offense. After all this stuff that happened and then this, well, you broke an NFL record, 39 points, no turnovers in that L. How? How, sir? How? You got an offense where everybody's running free because you got a Julio and people are scared to death. And Calvin Ridley's just running around like, yay! And you out here losing. How? I've yet to see Calvin Ridley be defended in like 2 years.
Yeah.
He's had a fun start to his NFL career. Nobody worry about me. He's like, hey, look, I'm here, but there goes Julio. And they leave and go with Julio.
Yeah.
And you find a way to lose. But it's okay. We're going to move on to Maserati Mitch out here, 17th win. The Bears.
I'll start. Nah, I'm gonna start.
What's that highlight film?
I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna get it out
look,
of the way.
I do this. I always say this. If y'all go 3-0, Mitch gonna have some cut ups up here next week.
Man.
He goes 3-0. Y'all gonna see the screen's going black. We're gonna be watching the Maserati Mitch clip right here. With the sound on. Nobody can comment. We just gotta sit there and just take it all in. Maserati.
So I'm sitting there watching that game. Of course, my wife is a Giants fan, so we going back and forth talking a little trash. And then she looked at me and she said, Mitch handed the ball off like a little league quarterback. He should just keep doing that. My wife said, and I'm like, that's how bad. I mean, yes, he won, or yes, we won, and he didn't look so bad. But I don't know if y'all noticed the pass he threw to the touchdown pass he threw, but how wobbly it was. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm going, dude, you can't, nobody even touched you. You did a good job sliding around the pocket. You found the open guy, and then the ball was wobbly. Luckily, the corner fell down because that should have been a pick. That ball was floating for a while. And it's little things that I look at with Mitch, and I'm going, he's just not the guy. Y'all have to be able to see it. Stop riding your ego and just and make the switch. You paid this dude Foles all his money to back him up, and okay. Let's go to New York. I'm not gonna do it. The Bears won. Kudos to them. Nice job on the defense. It was good to see Robert Quinn back out there. I think he's gonna definitely relieve some pressure off of Mac. You can kind of see they're gonna have fun playing with each other. I can see it, and you saw it in that game. Even though the Giants are not that great of a team, you can still see it was almost like a tune-up game for them. It's like they need to get that one out the way so they can move forward. The Giants, man, they lost Saquon, and I feel so bad for that kid, man, because he just can't get right. And that team, and the thing is, when he come back from injury, he got to come back to that team. It's like he got to go back to New York. Like, damn, man, what else can he do? And I love my family, man, and all, and I know they big Giants fans, but I would want to go back. I gotta find something else. Gotta find something else, man. I don't think anything good is gonna come out of him staying in New York right now, man.
Hey, man, you better call Odell and ask him what the playbook is to get out of there.
Right.
Hey, look, Gettleman likes his guys a certain way, so it's not gonna take much.
Oh, you gotta take a trip on the boat.
Go fight a kicking stand, have a personal life, it's a recipe for, they're going to trade you and condemn you at the same time. But if you're traded, just don't get sent to where Odell got sent to.
Yeah.
No.
My man went from hell to purgatory. Or purgatory to hell. Either way, it just wasn't a good switch.
We forgot to mention, we forgot to bring up the game-winning pass Mitch threw on third down.
I was trying to stay past that.
Third down. We needed a completion. So Mitch dropped back and threw the ball over 3 people. Completion to the left tackle for a first down. So our Bears could the team of the show, the Chicago Bears, the Monsters of the Midway.
Monsters of the Midway, led by Maserati.
And that worked out for him. I think the Bears had a good first quarter. Looked like it was gonna be a blowout.
It did, yeah.
He turned into himself, the pumpkin. It just is what it is. I think you're not gonna get a complete game from him, and that's the problem with him. He's gonna make a throw here or there. It's just enough to somebody like, you know what, that's all right. But he's just, you can't try. There's no reason the Bears should have the ball. I mean, the Giants should have the ball going, driving for the win. With all the issues the Giants have, and as much as Daniel Jones being a bad Josh Allen, or you got Saquon broke his elbow. It looked like he broke his elbow one play. 2 plays.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
I'm like, at some point, he should have knew when to say when. He should have said, he's going to finish the season with negative yards or, this is years of wash for him. It's just terrible. The Giants are in a terrible spot. And the Bears, you got to win. That's all you did. You're 2-0. That's all you could ask for. It wasn't pretty again, but you're 2-0.
Right. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on and move past this next game real quick. Kyler Murray, Washington football team. Yeah. So Chiefs, Chargers. That was fun. Don't really know. I don't think there's we need analysis. All right. So Washington football team, good defensive line. Everything else behind the defensive line, subpar. Kyler Murray, you have a good defensive line. You struggle to contain, and because nothing. The only thing that showed to me in that game is, unlike the game in week 1, he didn't fear any of the people behind the defensive line. Because he was out here hezzying and trying to cross people up. The week before, my man was moving at 4 times the speed he needed to move to make sure he got to a safe place. So for Washington, like, this is part of a rebuild. Is year 1 under Rivera. It's good that you got them picks up front. Speaking from experience, it's lovely to have those things. The biggest difference is you got to build the next levels. Because right now, honestly, like, you might have one NFL caliber linebacker and Kevin Pierre-Louis, and then after that, it's
a big drop off.
It's hard to play in this NFL right here without a good linebacker core. And you don't have one. And then, Troy Apke back there, it was a recipe for the disaster. We know what it was. The other thing where everyone get ready to throw all the hate in the world at Haskins. Just like it's young, it's young. He's still young and going through some things. That offensive coordinator is still wet behind his ears too. Scott Turner is not an established play caller. One of the telling things I took from the postgame quotes was, Dwayne talking about what they saw on film going into the game and then what Arizona actually came out playing. And what my ears heard was it took a while for us to adjust to it. And I don't think he was talking about him. Like, from a play calling standpoint, it took a while for them to adjust, and they started going tempo and things changed. Again, young play caller. All play callers don't hit the ground running like LaFleur, McVay, Shannon. Yeah, it's cool that they're young, but y'all gotta understand, them dudes was, that whole Bain speech with, I was brought up in it, you're merely adopted by it. They've been in the league. That's different. And with Scott, he's still young, so it's like it's gonna be a process. And they got to get other talent around, Terry. Like, you got Terry, and it's cool that you got a wide receiver 1, but in the NFL, man, you playing the Cardinals. Outside of Terry, they're not worried about nothing else. They're going to send, Arizona going to do Arizona stuff. They're going to send pressure. They only got to guard one dude. And so Washington, you'll be fine. Arizona, I would love to lie and say I'm shocked that they're 2-0, but how are we shocked by this? You gave one of the better young quarterbacks in the league, arguably the best wide receiver in the league. And unlike some places, they understand that there's not a limit on how much you can throw the ball to them. Believe it or not, there's not a cap. You can throw it to them as much as you want. It's crazy, Bill O'Brien. Look how that works. Kansas City and the Chargers, everyone got excited. Prayers up to Tyrod Taylor for what he went through. Everyone found out what it was today. He was supposed to get a shot, a pain shot for his ribs. And they, somehow the team doctor punctured his lung instead. So I don't know what's going to happen with him, especially the age he's at. It could be career threatening. I don't know if you'd even want to come back, risk it, or whatnot, but we'll see what happens in the coming days. The young boy, the Oregon kid, Justin Herbert, came in, and everybody was excited. He did some Justin Herbert things, and he also did some Justin Herbert things, which is why they lost 23-20. Love to hear you guys' take on that.
No, I mean that was perfect. It was Justin Herbert looked like Justin Herbert. Like, it's everything you saw on tape from college. It's exactly what he showed right in that one game, and it was like all at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me. It was like, oh, that's everything that I thought it was.
Yep.
The Chiefs, they're gonna have games like that, so where they don't look completely dynamic right away, but the next week or the week after. They're going to go right back to putting up, 35, 42. It's going to be that kind of game again. So, but little things with the Chiefs that you can see now starting to kind of build again and starting to click. So it'll be right back to them again soon.
Rob.
Chiefs didn't look good at all in that game, but they still figured out a way to pull it out and get the W. And that's this championship caliber team right there, man. They it's like, look, everything else that happened all 4 quarters is dead. It's 0-0 right now. We got to go out and get this W. Simple as that. And they figured it out, man. They got it done. Shout out to them. The Chargers, Justin looked like you said, looked like Justin. I wasn't impressed, but I wasn't like, eh. It was just like, I got it. Okay, I see it. It's like, and that's pretty much all it was, man. The Chiefs, I don't know, man. That game, it actually, when I was sitting here thinking about it and actually watching that game, they really shouldn't have been in that kind of trouble with the Chargers. And I don't know if they got comfortable coming in, just knowing like, all right, this is going to be one of those, we just got to come in, take care of business, and move on. But you can't do that in today's NFL, especially when you're playing against a quarterback you haven't seen. You saw him in college, but you don't know what he's done, this past summer. You don't know what he's going to do with the weapons that he has and whatnot. And I think they kind of caught them off guard. And the Chiefs got to understand they got a target on their back. Everybody coming for them. Simple as that. You won the Super Bowl. Everybody coming for you. They want to knock you down off that pedal. So kind of like in the NBA, what they did to Golden State all them years. They had their target on their back because it's like, oh, y'all got all the shooters, huh? Okay, well, they better figure it out because people are going to be coming for them. And it's hard to repeat Super Bowl championships in the NFL. It's not the same as it is in other leagues. So,
Justin.
Yeah, I think with Herbert, I think that's like you said, that's the performance you're going to get. It's going to be up and down. You're going to get some throws that are near no one. You're going to get some lasers. He's a one-read guy. Okay, the coach said throw here, I'm throwing here. And sometimes he's going to hit a safety. Sometimes you're going to squeeze one in a tight window. But that's what you're getting with your young quarterback. But I feel like with Kansas City, I'm wondering if maybe we found the kryptonite, but that certain look, that San Diego plays the same thing San Francisco played. You're getting that cover 3, and this is a team that that lacks patience. The Kansas City likes to take chances, likes to throw the ball deep. So you can get some pressure with your front 4, like San Diego can, like San Francisco can, like maybe a Green Bay can. Like now, you get Mahomes and he wants to take shots. Those are the teams they struggle with. So maybe that's the type of teams that can give them an issue. Now we'll see what happens this week because Baltimore's defense is the complete opposite. But and again, as good as Kansas City is, they're hot. They do show the ability to get cold. They get hot and cold. But the problem is if you let them hang around, they'll get you. That's the problem with Kansas City is if you let them hang around, you pretty much have to account for one insane throw that no person on earth can make. So that's 7 points. You're just saying Mahomes is gonna get me for 7. Yeah. We gotta play safe football, and he's gonna the other thing is he's gonna make a throw here or there that when you have a chance to make a play defensively, you gotta make it. Whether it's an interception, whether it's a fumble, and a lot of teams don't do that. If you can make that's then again, not to get too far ahead, but to get teams that have DBs that can pick a ball off like a Peters or certain safeties, when you get a chance to make a play, you gotta make it. Because you let them hang around, they'll get you. That's it.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what you were saying, like I know Justin, you and I were talking last week, like albeit San Fran and Chargers do it a little bit differently up front. The Chargers have a better back end, and Niners got a better front 4, but it's the same concept. The Chargers are able to man up in a way most teams can't do with those guys because without Derwin, they got some sticky guys back there from a cover standpoint. It's just they don't have enough horses up front, and we saw as that game wore on. I think Ingram got banged up, and Bosa he was kind of out of gas, and I think that's where they kind of missed Derwin. Where as a blitzer, the different things you could do with Derwin to kind of make up for that, and they also just need another guy up front that can routinely beat blocks and put pressure on. But I mean, that's the thing. The Baltimore thing's gonna be fun because I think what changes the matchup this year with Baltimore, Calais Campbell. The Niners had with the Buck and Armstead, those two physically presented a different type of issue for Kansas City. And Calais with his power, it's more like Armstead, but like Armstead, you can play him all up and down that line, and you can do a lot of different things behind him. And they're cover guys, so that's why that's pretty much that's like the highlight of next week's matchups, right? That's literally what everybody's waiting for. So we can fit everything in. We're gonna knock out these last couple games, and then when we get to the previewing next week, just gonna ask you guys who you're picking. I'll put the schedule up, go game by game, to go round robin. Next week we'll have more time to talk about our picks and if they came true or whatnot. Baltimore and Houston, that was fun, but I feel like we all knew the outcome of that. We had one really talented quarterback in a situation where He was treated right. They put toys around him, care about him, they nurtured him. And then you got Bill O'Brien, where he doesn't care about anything, and they're showing safety. I don't know a better way to describe it. Deshaun's like, that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meme where Will's in the house, somebody's around. That's Deshaun Watson on a regular basis. I don't know what you expect this man to do. I felt bad for him. Like, you playing Baltimore's defense. They just sit back there waiting. They don't fear anybody over there. It was like, oh, man, hey, Hop ain't out here? I know Marcus Peters was like, I ain't guarding nobody.
Yeah.
For 4 quarters, I bet you told the secondary coach, so, like, look, we playing Houston, and I'm about to be watching Deshaun. So, yeah. And then the pick that he made, you can't even argue with him as a secondary coach, because that was a hell of a catch for a wideout, let alone a corner. So, yeah, they got to do better with Houston. We're giving Deshaun weapons. Like, Deshaun's going through Sam Darnold's life, except he started off with actual weapons. They just had someone just willingly give them away. Like, let's just go to Goodwill and dump off DeAndre Hopkins. We don't need any more. It's not a problem. So, I mean, I'm going to switch from that. And the other thing with Baltimore, I'm going to need everyone, not y'all, but I'm going to need y'all nationally. Stop acting surprised that Lamar Jackson got better. It's not hard. This is not shocking. It's not crazy. Also, let me tell you a secret. Some of the black quarterbacks prefer to stay in the pocket. It's crazy. I know it. It's mind-blowing. They only hit the red button if they have to.
Right.
It's just crazy. And it's like, we'll get to another game in a little bit where we saw a guy for most of his career in a place where he always had to move. So people are like, oh, he just has to live on the move. I saw the most unbothered version of this person in my life on Sunday night. And I was like, he looks comfortable in that whole pocket thing. Doesn't look like he wanted to leave at all. And that's something Lamar looks OD comfortable. And he's going to get better with the weapons and everything around him. Like, my only fear for them is, I'm going to say it, it's not coming from a personal place. It kind of is, but it's not petty, just being honest and worried about Lamar. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to win the big one with Roman being the OC. That's just me personally. I think there's kind of a cap, not on Lamar, but what he can do with Lamar. I think they might need somebody with a little bit more innovation to kind of get them over the hump, because you got a nuclear weapon. I don't think dude knows exactly what you have, because you're the same guy when you had another version of this thing. You ain't do none of the stuff with him. So until I see something change, I can't trust you with this. I just can't. Andy Reid, I can trust. He showed us several different versions of black quarterbacks. We're gonna roll this rock out. We're gonna have us some fun. Y'all, we're gonna live. We're gonna get you weapons. You're gonna enjoy life. We're gonna raise hell for defenses, and I think Baltimore's getting there. But you guys had any thoughts from the Baltimore-Houston game?
I think
Go ahead, Justin.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was going to say the thing that Baltimore has over everyone else is the fact that it's a complete roster. So that's a complete team. And they keep the pedal to the metal. Unlike Kansas City, where it's, they'll go down 14 and you pretty much never see Baltimore behind, which sometimes catches up, caught up with them in the playoffs. But if they got to score 50, they'll score 50. Like, they don't have any problem embarrassing. I think that's the one thing they have over Kansas City.
I definitely agree to that. They definitely don't care about your feelings, the yards, anything at all. All right, so this is a Sunday night game everybody enjoyed. Went down to the freaking wire. Seattle beat New England 35-30. Jesse, we'll start with you and work our way back, going from Jesse to Rob to Justin. What's your thoughts on this one?
Russell Wilson throws the best deep ball in the league.
Facts.
Like, it's insane. And the fact that you had a receiver who came out of college and everybody's like, he can run 3 routes. And all of a sudden you're watching him down the field running comebacks and running digs and running. I was like, whoa, this is okay. I mean, I was wrong about it too. I have to admit, I was wrong about it too. But you gave him that guy. So to watch him, as much as sometimes he drives me insane with his speeches and interviews after the game and things of that nature, because I'm always like, yeah, just pick out from the box. It's the same thing every single time. just pick out from the box. You know, he's the corniest dude that just pick out from the box. It drives me insane, but when I watch him on the field, it's poetry. It's absolutely beautiful. So to have that kind of thing, and I wish his resume was better over time. He's only gonna, and I feel like he's only gonna have the one Super Bowl, and it's gonna be that thing, and it's always gonna be a knock on him as far as play wise. But he looked great, and Cam looks so comfortable. You know, this was the steal. I was looking at the list of quarterbacks getting paid more money than him, and I'm like, are you still getting more money than him right now? This is now. So it's crazy that Bill Belichick got that guy, and is talking about him like a brand new girlfriend that he rolling around with, and you know, see how nice she is. See this right here. Yeah. So I've never heard him be that loving towards anybody he's ever coached in his entire life. So but to watch him on the field, he looks healthy. He looks like he's having fun. He looks comfortable on an offense. So I'm looking forward to watching more of that.
Hey, stop flashing the Blake Bortles.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We were talking about people that were paid more than him. I was just sharing.
That's one.
Excuse me.
Okay, real quick. All I'm gonna say when I was watching that game, I didn't really want either team to lose because I like both quarterbacks, and I love watching that. That game was exciting from beginning to end, and Cam looks healthy. Not only does he look comfortable, he looks healthy, and it's like I don't know what people didn't understand. That his health was going to be fine once he had some time to rest, heal up properly. He was going to be all right. He's Cam Newton. He was the number one pick for a reason. And everybody had him done. They didn't want nothing to do with him. Nobody wanted to talk to him. We don't know what the injury is going to be like. Yeah, but he's going to be better than any option that's available right now. And then Belichick did what Belichick does. Came, swooped in, grabbed Cam off the low, for a bag of Cheetos and a hot dog. You know what I'm saying? and now look, like they look like the system looks good, but it looks better with Cam. It looked good with Brady, but it looks 10 times better with Cam because they have more options. You know, so watching that game, I was excited, man, just because I wanted to see all these explosive plays and just see what they were going to do in Russ, man. Russ, it's amazing to me. They put that stat up on Sunday night. He's never had a single MVP vote ever.
Insane.
Like ever? Like that's ridiculous. How does that even happen? That means that
I got the answer. I got the answer afterwards. After Justin talk, I got the answer for why. So I got you.
Yeah, man. So but no, I was excited watching the game, man. I love the outcome of the game. It was a close game all the way through, man. It was just fun, man. It was fun to watch. It was good football.
Yeah, I definitely was a great game, man. That was fun to watch. It was just, I think, like you said, with Russ is finally letting him actually play for 4 quarters. You know, before it was like the same. He was kind of going through what Watson's going through, where okay, we're gonna play this way now, bail us out. You know, and now it's on. They're putting it on his shoulders, and it doesn't help that the defense ain't as good as it used to be. So they kind of need all those points. And then with New England, it's another thing. Like, the thing I like about it is you're actually getting to see that Cam is actually a smart. Like you just kind of people get put in a box. You know, it was kind of being used like a fullback. Now you see him sitting in the pocket and running design plays, and he's with the Wizard now. He's over in that place. And you have to respect him. He might finish with 20 rushing touchdowns and 25 passing touchdowns. You know, and it'll take his game to the next level, and people will have to give him the respect he deserves. You know, and I think it'll reflect bad on the Panthers, but still.
Well, yeah.
Real quick, though, there's one thing I was going to say. The last play call by New England at the end of that game was not a fan of that play call. I really felt like that was probably the worst time to run that play. I get that you want to use Cam, I get it, but they were playing. They were sitting on that. Like they were sitting on that from the very beginning. When I was looking and I saw, I was like, please don't tell me they're about to run a Cam up the middle. And that's exactly what they did. And I was like, hey, y'all kind of did that to yourselves. You had an opportunity to do something else, and you decided to use Cam at the wrong time. Like that's not the time to use Cam. Not as a runner. I just wasn't a fan of that play call. But go ahead, Will. My bad.
Yeah, with the play call, I wasn't a fan of it, but I get it because they're gonna play action pop past somebody with that next time, because you saw him take 50, 11 times. I think it was one of those things where Bill was like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But when the play action hits, boy, it's going to be special.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're going to see that play 70 times between now and then. You're going to get to the postseason, and it's going to be play action 5 times in a row. And defense is 5 times in a row and be like, but you ran it 70 times before.
I don't think they mind losing that. I mean, it sounds.
I don't think so.
Insane. I think they're so far ahead of where they thought they'd be.
Yep.
I don't think any way they could have thought Cam would. They'd be that. This offense would be running the way it is right now.
No, I'm with you.
So 2 weeks they ran 2 separate offenses in 2 different weeks.
Yep. And I think that's the fun part is again, I know someone's going to take this the wrong way. I also don't care. You're giving somebody like Bill Belichick with his brain, right? This is the most physically gifted dude you've had under center since you've been coaching the NFL. The possibilities are endless. You can all the stuff that you think outside the box on defense. We see how brilliant you are. You've been up in a box offensively since you had the dude. It is what it is. There's a certain way you can do stuff. Like I was not today years old. Today's Wednesday. So I was Monday night years old when I realized that Julian Edelman can stretch the field vertically because I've been told my whole life.
Yeah.
Let's go east and west. So I'm sitting here because I was also told last year there ain't no skill positions in New England. Man, and wide receivers is trash. I saw N'Keal Harry walk through an assassination attempt. Get up on the side. Like no one built for this. Watching Demir Bird out here separation king.
And the fact that Edelman had the most yardage under Cam.
Career high. Second game with the guy. Very interesting. So what you're saying is for the last, decade, you could have been putting this dude in the slot and killing people vertically. Interesting. Didn't know. But then when I watch Tampa Bay and I see seam throws can't be made. Aha. Some of those roses that I didn't call some of those things before. And the crazy thing doing he's not even doing anything off schedule. Pocket. He just running a freaking offense like a quarterback. It is beautiful watching for Russ. I'm not surprised. I've seen him drop deep balls to trash wide receivers my entire tenure as a Niner fan. He's done this with way worse people. When they got DK, I was like, oh, yay, thanks. I knew what it was. I knew exactly what it was. Also, when we were talking about Josh Allen with the good wide receiver, trash quarterback thing, DK and A.J. Brown, all them folks at that school that were there together, and everybody had the nerve to talk about everybody's routes and the limited route tree and all this stuff, and we didn't question the garbage quarterback. Because I would like to be a quarterback in college, and you got 2 freaking mutants. How hard is it the ball? I don't care what route. You can't tell me it was difficult. They both standing over linebackers. They're huge. I question like their sanity. It was that difficult to look downfield because I'm sure they look just as big downfield as they do up close to identify which one to throw to. And that is, he can't turn. He was the things he did to Stephon Gilmore. We haven't seen people do to Stephon Gilmore. That was a whole Stephon Gilmore he put his foot in. And I love Stephon Gilmore. And you know how Bill is. I got Gilly lock. I'm gonna put him on my guy. We gonna go about our business. And DK and Russ was like, yeah, so
grown man strength. Grown man strength.
It was beautiful.
He caught on Stephon. I was like, ooh.
And
just off, dog. Like, ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about that, man.
And even then, like that was picture perfect coverage. But the problem is you're blanketed over somebody who's 6'4", 230. You can't run through them, swipe through them, nothing. Against a human, that's probably a PBU or a pick. But that's muted, so he ain't even know you were there. And it Russ with the MVP.
The ball was placed perfectly.
But that's Russ. I've seen him throw to bums like that.
It's just like you said. It's like watching art, man. It was such a gorgeous ball in the air, man, and he dropped the dime on him. I'm just like, dude, this guy's great, man.
All right, so
it looks like slow motion. It looks like slow.
Mhm.
Like,
it did.
but it's
Like
only
I needed music behind it.
yeah, exactly.
you can put the music in your head. It fits. It always applies. Like that's literally the scariest thing for me, and it has been. Being an NFL fan is the fact that if that dude got the ball at the end of the game, man, it's just how is he gonna do it? Like, or is someone gonna let him down because he's gonna do it? He's going to do it. And the only reason you get the MVP votes, that division eats its own. It eats its own. So by the time you get out that division, you got some of them ugly L's, and people look. If you're not watching that division on purpose, you wouldn't know that Russ been throwing the best deep ball for the past 10 years. Because there's not a big name wideout that's out there where you don't. How many people got Tyler Lockett on their fantasy teams on purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or even when Doug Baldwin was playing, nobody like, oh man, I want Doug Baldwin in the third round. Nobody. But Doug Baldwin was out here catching those beautiful passes. He ain't even fast like that, but he was eating. So it's just one of the things that division eats its own, and then from the outside, because it gets so muddied up, it's hard. Anybody in that division go 13-3 or 14-2, or in the years that they do, somebody, even when they do, somebody lost like a couple starters because no one comes out that thing alive. Right. No one does. Just no one ever does. So, I mean, that's tough, but I hope that this is the year he gets some love for it, and that's why I'm happy at DK. Because you notice DK. Like DK must watch TV because it's big, fast, strong. Like he we gonna wait a little bit, but he got his own baby version of T.O. out there, and it drives me freaking crazy because I gotta see this until Russ decides to pack it up, which is annoying. We're gonna go ahead and fast forward to these picks for next week 3 preview. I'm not giving the Saints any time for losing to the Raiders. They don't deserve it. They just don't. That is a horrible L, sir. And congrats to the Raiders, but this goes. We spent so much time tonight talking about quarterbacks that look old.
Yeah, he definitely looks old. He definitely looks old.
Last year, and looks worse now.
Yeah. Oh.
Gotta love it, right? Fun times in New Orleans. But you pay Taysom Hill $16 million because fun times. I'm gonna try to pull up the week 3 schedule if I'm allowed to. Hey, there we go. Did it change on the screen for you guys? It did.
It's changing.
There you go.
Look at the internet sometimes working. All right, so we got tomorrow night, Jacksonville, Miami. We'll start with Justin and go down. You guys just share your picks.
Gardner. I'm going Minshew.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I got Jacksonville too.
All right, Justin.
I got Jacksonville too. I'll probably sleep by the third quarter, but I got Jacksonville. I swear, the NFL Network and the NFL is trying to dare you to watch film, like watch these games, because it's just the next few weeks. I'm just like, really, this is what you're giving me? So they're daring you to watch the games.
I think the trade-off is that we're getting a fire Sunday night or Monday night game.
Yes.
In exchange for a horrible Thursday night game. So I guess that's the trade-off. Either way, I'm still not going to watch. But we can go 4 for 4 with Jacksonville. I'm not watching that. I refuse. I'm sorry. I'm not watching Miami until Tua plays.
Plus, so this gets us Tua quicker. Like Jacksonville winning gets us Tua quicker.
Yes.
Hopefully. All right, we got Houston and Pittsburgh, which, Deshaun gets to deal with that defense, but Houston also gets to deal with Ben. Jesse, we can start with you and work our way up.
We go Pittsburgh. Oh, you said Justin or Jesse? I'm sorry.
Either one. Go ahead. You already started. It's all good.
I apologize.
It's all good.
We can go with Pittsburgh. Hopefully, Deshaun makes it out of there healthy. We can go with Pittsburgh.
All right, Rob.
I'm gonna go Houston on this. I think they're gonna find a way to pull out the W, their first one of the season, man. It's gonna be tough, but I think it's gonna be an ugly win for them.
All right, Justin.
I'm going Pittsburgh, and I think it's going to be closer than that we all thought, but I think it's going to be Pittsburgh in the end.
All right, I'm gonna chalk this up to one of the 3 weird games where Deshaun just goes bonkers and drags that garbage team to a win. That might be one of them. Then we got the Bengals and the Eagles. Jesse, you could go first.
I'm going to get a burner account for this game. So I'm going wild on Twitter. This actually, I think we go on 3. Actually, I do. I think this is the game that it's either a get right game Philadelphia or Cincinnati actually does get us in the end. I think Cincinnati does. I think Burrow puts it together and picks up on the weaknesses that we have, and we lose by 3.
Oh wow. Okay. Rob?
I got Cincinnati in this game as well. I think Joe Burrow is going to get that first win. Jesse, I'm sorry, man. I think Burrow's due though. I think that first game he should have had a win there, but the kicker didn't come doing. I think he's going to end up pulling this one out though.
Justin?
I gotta go with Philly, man. Until they're dead, I still think there's a chance. You'll get that one. It's just like Cleveland last week. And then the fans will start getting hyped up again after this one win and think they got it fixed.
Oh man, that's a tough one for me. I think I'm gonna go with Burrow and company. I don't like it's, and the only reason I'm going with it, I don't have faith that Peterson can save himself from an ego standpoint. Like it has nothing. It's nothing more than that. It's kind of like scaling back to kind of run the system for Carson. I feel like he wouldn't deem as like putting the team first or the appropriate thing to do. It'd be kind of like a sign of weakness in terms of like I don't believe in my guy versus I should put my guy in a better situation, which is what it should be.
If Cincinnati wins, Eagles are gonna probably fire a lot of people, I would guess.
No, I think it would take a week. What I don't know because
it lost the worst team in the league.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know. It'd be interesting, man. I think it's hard for them. I think it would take 3 more losses before they like really commit to the. Because I think you don't want to upset Carson if Doug's his guy. First off, so it'd take that buffer's like a week. I would say if they lose this game, and if they don't compete in the San Francisco game, I think then conversations are going to be had. Depending on who plays in that matchup. All right, then we got the Giants and whatever's left of the Niners. Justin, we can start with you.
I think it's going to be closer than people think because the 49ers probably ain't going to play a lot of people. This is just a dress rehearsal, dress up and beat up on the Giants real quick, and hopefully by halftime get the backups in there and start prepping for next week.
Rob?
I think San Francisco is definitely going to end up pulling this one out, even though the team is decimated right now with injuries. New York they ain't got Saquon. I think Shepard's out too, isn't he? Didn't he get hurt last week too? If I'm not mistaken. And Jones is back there by himself, just trying to figure things out, man, trying to learn on the job. Still, they're not going to pull it out. They end up going on 3. I got San Francisco.
Jesse?
Clean sweep on that one for me. San Francisco, same. Danny Dimes, which I hate that nickname. He looks like Eli 2.0 at certain points. Like he just, and like I said, I feel bad for Saquon. He went from bad Eli to this. Like this dude will try to give the ball as much as he can. And I think that San Francisco defense will take it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think even with the injuries, I think a bad offensive line is kind of like it's not a good time to still be a bad offensive line. Like it lines up perfectly, right? It's a bad offensive line, and regardless, you don't have the edge rushers. I don't know about the Giants' interior offensive line, but it's probably going to get touched up a little bit. And with Mullins and Kyle, I think IU goes for like 5 catches, a buck, and a couple of tutties, just off play action deep shots. And that's the game where he gets loose because I would anticipate New York coming in like it's going to be the same old. And Ayuk actually had a couple kill shots drew up for him last week. The line didn't hold. This should be a fun one. We got Cam and company taking on the Raiders. Jesse, we will start with you.
This one exposes the Raiders for kind of what they are at this point. And it's going to get bad quick. So this is going to be the one that Cam looks really, really good in. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I think like a 2-touchdown win is not out the realm for the Patriots.
I got New England in this game as well. Las Vegas. It's so weird saying that. Las Vegas. They looked good last week against New Orleans and the old Drew Brees, but they're not gonna have that same luck against Cam and the Patriots, man. They riding the wave right now. I got Cam and those guys.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, I got New England too. Raiders are better than I thought, but that defense is really bad. So I think that's going to be the issue.
All right, I'm going New England. I don't trust Gruden coach teams, so Minnesota and Tennessee, and that's for both of them as a family. Don't trust them. Minnesota and Tennessee got the Vikings taking on a really good defense. If I played fantasy football, I would be starting the Vikings. I mean the Tennessee Titans defense or trading. This is a fun week. Yeah, it's getting ugly.
Oh, I'm sorry that caught me.
Right, took me out.
He put up 11 points against the Colts' stellar defense. Now you take it off. Tennessee got some dudes back there. You only throw to one guy. Sorry, go ahead, John. Go ahead, Jesse. You could
go. Yeah. Just I keep thinking Adam Thielen was the guy to light this quarterback up in the media. So like Adam Thielen, all people, Diggs was just sitting back there like, y'all gonna let me go pretty soon, and you've seen why. So yeah, Tennessee's gonna win, and it's gonna be Kirk Cousins again. This driveway doing whatever he was doing. Exercise-wise, he's doing on video that's on YouTube for some reason.
Rob.
I got Tennessee, man. That's it. Dude, Minnesota gonna be the worst team in our division. As simple as that. Simple as that, man.
Worse than Maserati match.
Hey, Maserati got us 2-0. Kirk got a bag of money and can't even get over the hump right now, man. Can't get out the driveway because he's recording YouTube videos, like you said. So good, man.
It's a dark day when you're looking up at Maserati Mitch from a quarterback.
It's a bad day, bro.
But shout out to Vikings fans. My goodness. Justin, Tennessee and Minnesota.
Minnesota's going to get somebody at some point, but it's not going to be this week. Tennessee's actually good.
That was a really nice way to say no.
I think it's going to get ugly. Yeah, I think Tennessee's going to get them pretty good. So, yeah.
All right, then we got Washington and the Cleveland Bakers. Justin, we can start with you.
I'm gonna go with Cleveland only because this is tough because that D line, Baker not gonna be able to see over this D line. But if he does get the ball off, the receivers will be open. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland.
Rob.
I got Cleveland in this one as well. As long as they keep their game plan simple for Baker, and he doesn't try to go outside of what he is supposed to do, and he just manages the game, I think they'll be fine, man. I got Cleveland in this one.
Jesse.
I got a joke for Baker Mayfield, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't trust Baker. I don't. There's moments where he looks really good, but I just don't trust him. And I think at some point Washington's going to expose that, especially with pressure up front in his face. I mean, that's going to be a problem for him. So I think Washington pulls it off.
Yeah, I'm with Jesse on this one. I think Chase might get a hat trick with sacks this week. Not even being funny. He about to eat. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, they should be fine. Just off the pass rush. Baker should do bigger things. He only rolls right. So that works out. That's into Chase Young's path. Last year when we played him, he only rolled to Nick Bosa's side. So maybe he got to think for Ohio State defensive ends, whatever works. Yeah, the Bakers should do some Baker thing. But like I said, if he gets the ball off, I don't know where the path of resistance is. Fuller might play this week, but they would like that very much. But I just don't trust Baker. Rams and Bills. This should be fun. because we got your man Josh out here who's not scared to throw at whatever. But you got a whole Jalen who would love for you to throw whatever at him. And then, Buffalo's offensive line, it's not bad. But, it's Aaron Donald week. So we're going to see how that goes. Justin, your thoughts on this one?
I just remember that the Rams were good. Yeah. I'm going to go with Buffalo this week.
Okay.
I think the reason for that being Allen is definitely not scared of anybody because he was throwing at Ramsey even when he was bad. And now Allen's a little better. And then Buffalo's defense is just good enough, I think, to put Goff in some of those situations we talked about where, you take it out of McVay's hands. It's some 2nd and 9s. You're not going to run the ball and you're not going to bully Buffalo. You know what I mean? So Buffalo's got a good defense. So they're going to put the game in Goff's hands. And I don't think if you put the game in Goff's hands, I don't think you're getting the same guy that we've had the first 2 weeks.
All right, Rob.
That's a good point, man. It's really depending on what Jared Goff shows up. I like that Rams team, man. I like Buffalo too. Don't get me wrong, and with the second coming of Josh Allen and all that good stuff, and the glitters and glitz and all that. But I got the Rams in this one. Man. It'll be a closer game than what most people are thinking, but I got the Rams coming out on top.
All right, Jesse.
It'll be fun to watch. I mean, Josh Allen was straight up throwing double teams. Like he doesn't care. It's gonna be fun. But at the same time, I do like the way the offense right now for the Rams is clicking. Robert Woods gets his money. It just looks it looks so beautiful out there when they're moving around, and the way the pieces are actually moving. The way the game plan is being called right now is just a thing of art. So I think the Rams win this one comfortably.
Oh man, about the whole Baker thing. I trust Jared Goff even less. I just don't trust Jared Goff. It's like you apply a little pressure, then the whole thing unravels. It's Jared Goff, just a little bit. At any given time, everything can go left. I think Josh might struggle a little bit with that defense. Because like you guys said, he's not afraid to throw at Jalen. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams. Just because he's not afraid to throw at Jalen. Maserati Mitch looking to go 3-0 against the Falcons.
Stop calling them that, man.
Nope. In the Falcons.
Who's got first?
You, sir. Your thoughts on Maserati Mitch against Matty Ice.
I don't think the Bears could score enough to win this game, even though Atlanta will try to help. But everything in me says that I gotta go with Atlanta. I'm sorry.
All right, Rob.
I'm actually gonna go with Chicago in this game. Early in the season, like before, when I first looked at the schedule, I wasn't a big fan of this game, but I haven't seen them implode like that last week, man. I can't trust those guys. Like that just is crazy, man. And it's not throwing shots at Dallas because Dallas took care of business. They did what they had to do to get back in the game, but Atlanta does things to help you win games. Like they do things. Wilson, stop playing, man. That's not okay.
That's not okay.
and Matty Ice, how did they get these names, man, for guys that ain't never won and did a damn thing? Like, I don't get it, man. They got two of the dopest nicknames ever, but never mind. I got the Bears in this one.
Jesse.
Nah, you got to keep going with that because literally – you got Matty Ice, and the dude's been melting down every single game we watched. But I think this is the game. Interestingly enough, it's like this is the game that could start that slide because of last week, and Atlanta could go on like a 3 or 4 game losing streak because of that inclusion. But I think this is the one that saves them, and I think it's close, but I think Atlanta wins it.
Okay, just because Atlanta's Atlanta, and how Justin said. They just always seem to find a way. Maserati Mitch goes to 3-0, so I can get this clip.
I wanted to say that. I want him to be 3-0 so bad, man.
I need 3-0.
If he's 3-0, that means he's going to continue to be our quarterback. Y'all do realize that. I'm sorry. He can be my quarterback. I know y'all don't.
16-0, you're still going to be complaining about it.
Hold on, sir. He's also not my problem. So yes, 3-0. I got Jimmy Cricket with the leg brace. No names. We're good. You got Maserati Mitch. Man. Yeah, I might have to get some audio just to play it every time we talk about it.
Hit the button.
All right, Carolina and the Chargers. So Matt Rule and company taking on Los Angeles Chargers. We can start with you, Justin. I'm excited about this.
Last week means, to me, last week means nothing with the Chargers. Like, I just feel like they just played KC good. But I think now with a week to prepare for Herbert and whoever else they got, like I'm gonna go with the Chargers because they're home and the no fans will lead them to victory.
All right, Rob.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one too, man. I think they're gonna try to build off of what they did last week against Kansas City. Like, I don't know if that's gonna be, what they do every week, week in and week out, but I think they're gonna go off of take some of that momentum they got in their game and realize that they played their team tough and it was a championship team, and I think they might keep rolling on that. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers on that.
All right, Jesse.
Same. I think I'm going with the Chargers too. It feels like the NBA bubble where a guy's about to get a contract he didn't deserve, but because he's not playing in front of fans, that also now he can ball out because he's not hearing the crowds. I feel like Justin Herbert might actually have that in him in this game. Nobody in his ear screaming. That's the point. Calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Man, I just have no faith in Carolina for all Cam Newton related reasons. So Chargers.
Yeah. And no McCaffrey. No McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're missing both your former MVPs. The Jets and the Colts. You guys can go ahead and knock this one out. Don't all speak at once.
Colts.
Two quarterbacks I want to watch in my backyard. Colts.
Man, nobody's believing in the New York Gases? No? It's tough.
I wanted to pick the Jets too, man.
Yeah, if they had another coach, I might consider it.
It's going to be that game where Rivers is going to throw 5 picks. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the Jets going to do? Score off them?
Still score 3.
What are the Jets going to do with those extra possessions? They're not going
to 10-7.
7's a lot for them now. We got, this should be a fun one. Oh, yeah, Justin. Dallas taking on Russ and them, and they're in Seattle, where that advantage is kind of weird because that place is quiet, which it's never quiet. Same thing for KC, which I think it's going to take a little while for both of them playing at home to kind of get used to the fact that that big extra advantage is literally not there. So now while you're relaxed, so the other team's like, yeah, it's quiet. We can hear each other. No worries about the snap count and everything being off. Like, it's quiet now. It's fair. That said, though, Justin, your Cowboys taking on the Seattle Russells. Who you got?
You know what? I'm so close. I was close to picking Dallas. Seattle has receivers too. And as bad as Seattle's defense is, Dallas' defense is worse. So I'm going to have to go with Seattle.
Rob?
You know what? I was kind of going back and forth with this game too, and Russ and those guys, they riding that wave, man. Last week came out on top. Dallas, I know that they pulled out 1-2, but if I got to go and choose, which team, I got to go with Seattle. Just defensively, they're a better team than Dallas is. I like what Dak did. I think Dak will have a good game, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Jesse.
Wow, coming from an Eagles fan, I'm actually going to say this. Dallas. There's something I saw with that 3 receiver set that I kind of liked a lot, and I want to see it play against Seattle in that defense and see if they can run up the score, if they can spread the field a little bit, get that running game going. I think they can actually win that game.
Yeah, I think that was definitely going to be fun. I just don't really bet against Russ, even when it's for like personal reasons. I'm fearful, and this isn't a personal thing because it's not my team. So yeah, just Russ. I'm always surprised when anybody outside the division for the team I root for loses outside the division, because I think they only beat each other up because it's like the NFL, and then that's the mutant league. So I got faith against the mutant league when they play outside the mutant league, because what's Dallas gonna do with it?
That's a good point.
I mean,
They got all the defensive ends that they got out of rehab.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, I got DK having a whole lot of fun this week. And that's the other thing with Dallas, man. They got so many fun toys, and it kind of goes back to like the thing we were talking about somebody earlier, where I just don't believe the people in charge of them. Dallas, like on paper, boy, that is a fire offense, and I know who's in charge of it, and I'm like,
right.
Like Jesse, I love that you brought up the 3 wide receiver sets with like a legit offensive coordinator. I'd be like, man, hey, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, they'll guard them. It's like self-check. They'll guard themselves.
Dallas picks 1 to throw to every week.
Yeah. So like you said, they're gonna highlight one of them, and this will be the week Jamal Adams gets his 2 picks for the year.
Yeah.
This will be Jamal Adams gets his 2 picks for the year this week. This is a fun one. Tampa Bay and Denver. Not watching. Jesse, you can go first.
Start Noah fantasy team, but Tampa wins.
All right, Rob.
I got Tampa.
Okay, Justin.
Tampa only because Denver doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah. If Denver had Drew Lock, like Tampa Bay fans, you're lucky. I really would have went with Drew Lock.
Yeah. So would I.
Yeah,
definitely.
It was an easy decision. I'm only not taking them because of the Bortles situation. Lord, it feels weird saying that. I'm sorry, Denver fans. Not really. Detroit and Arizona. So, again, my personal rule about not picking the mutants outside the division. So, Kyler's going to have fun again. Cool story, bro. You guys taking Detroit? Anybody?
No.
No takers.
Right? Nope. Okay. Green Bay and New Orleans. This should be fun. It's at New Orleans. Wow.
What are we talking about? What are we doing right now?
What are we doing now?
They're on the screen thing, so we have to mention it, okay?
I'm sorry, my bad.
Gosh, sir, I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk about it. If it was me, we would have only talked about Kansas City and Baltimore this week. I try to be mature and do the right thing, and you're out here acting like that. Gosh, you think I want to talk about Maserati Mitch or the Detroit Lions? You think I'm excited about those things? Gosh. But yes, we got Green Bay and New Orleans, and we got one Green Bay already. Anybody else?
Yeah. The Saints are the worst good team. Doesn't make any sense. But I'm going Green Bay, but it makes no, like, we talk about the Saints like they're just automatic loss, but like it's actually a good roster. But it's just I wasn't even surprised Monday night. I watched the game and I was just like, yep. It's like they're just it happens too often. It happens way too often. Maybe when Drew leaves it changes, but yeah, Green Bay though. Green Bay.
All right, Jesse.
You talk about find ways to lose. Like they find creative ways to lose.
Yes, they do.
Like I'm always impressed. I didn't know I was in a playbook, but y'all found a way to lose this game, and it's gonna happen again. I'm gonna stay up for it, and it's gonna happen again, and I'm gonna be shocked for no apparent reason.
But at least Atlanta's fun when they lose. They're just like this is just wasting your time. You just feel like you just wasted some hours when you watch the Saints.
That's crazy. Oh man.
When they lose. The saddest part about that is I agree wholeheartedly. New Orleans whines when they mess up. It's horrible. Oh my God, it's illegal to throw on a punt path. Why are you in that situation anyway? You're a genius. Yeah, Green Bay by a lot. This is going to be bad. I'm not going to pretend with you Saints fans. It's an L. Get ready to rebuild your roster. Man, Father Time's undefeated, man. That thing's ugly.
You know what though? One thing with Green Bay is like they look really good right now, but I do want to see how tough they are. Like, you know, the way they got bullied by San Fran last year is one of the things that makes it hard to pick them. Like, I know how. I mean, for Super Bowl type. The way they're playing right now is at another level, especially offensively. So you think they made changes, but it's hard to get out of your mind what San Fran did to them last year twice.
Right.
Well, that's the thing, exactly what you mentioned. That's how I feel about both of these teams. It's just that they're playing each other. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, they're both sweet. Like, until proven otherwise, they're both sweet. Can't count on them. You get to the playoffs, they're sweet. They don't want to hit nobody. They don't like being touched. You hit them a little bit, they're ready to go home. It's 4th and 1. They don't want to tackle the guy, even though he caught the ball short of the sticks. He carries 5 of you. Like, how do you carry a secondary? Dude, it was 4th and 1. They were going to the same person. It's not that difficult. It's the Saints. I just don't understand. Case Keenum, he's just it's Ebony and Ivory. Which one? It's going to one of them. It's not that difficult. Tackle him. Don't tell me it was hard. Just tackle him. Boy, y'all got put out in the playoffs last year by Kyle Rudolph. I can't take you seriously. I refuse to take you seriously. Then you got Michael Thomas out here, Marcus Colston 2.5 or whatever. Like, I can't take you seriously. He just Michael Colston that went to a Power 5 school. Like, that's it. And I like Michael Thomas a lot, but, like, I don't understand how somebody with that type of talent or whatever, like, in these situations, man, you be going, like, 0 dark 30. Where are you?
Right.
I don't understand it. We get told for 15 weeks you a bad man. It gets to the playoffs. That's why I can't trust y'all, New Orleans. I don't get it. Other people know who their best players. They get the ball. You just go quiet. Quiet into the night. Every year. Oh man.
Did you see someone said that the reason the Saints lost was because they missed Michael Thomas's 13 for 65? 13
Did you see what's the quote only got 4 targets in that game?
For Sanders.
Yeah, I mean they got like if I'm Emmanuel Sanders, bro, I hope the bag was worth it. What did you do? You just gotta take a little bit less money and 4 targets in a loss to the Raiders.
Right.
You be wide receiver 1 for a couple more weeks at least.
Yeah, true.
Sheesh. But don't trust them. Green Bay by a lot. And then that's like you said. If you ask me later on in this year, or literally when they start playing the playoff teams, I'm always going with the playoff teams. I don't trust them every time. So like that's the crazy part. No disrespect to your division, Rob, but like they just be acting like that, man. Maserati Mitch might make it different, but division be acting real funky. Shout out to
Bears are tough. Bears are tough at least. Bears are at least tough.
But Maserati was
Equalizer. He's the equalizer.
Mitch is in the Maserati now. It's different.
Just stop opening the door for him to say Maserati Mitch. Like every time you say something, the next thing it's not even, we're not even talking about the offense, talking about the defense, and he just gotta pull out Maserati Mitch. Like don't open the door no more, man. Like what are we doing?
It's a quarterback's league. Maserati Mitch. Right, we're gonna go from Maserati Mitch to the Ferrari. Are you happy? Is it better? We'll talk about Pat Mahomes and company. We got the Ferrari and then the MVP. So we're going to talk about 2 high-level quarterbacks now going from Green Bay, New Orleans, to these youngsters. Those are the kind of old guard with Aaron and Drew. Aaron still got some time left. Drew, it's been fun. It's been real. I hope you enjoyed the one you got. It was cool. We'll remember you for what it was. You're gone. Kansas City, Baltimore. Jesse, we can start with you. This should be fun, man.
I'm so looking forward to this. It's ridiculous. I want to blow through work on Monday just to get to this point here. Stats I love. Actually, I saw this about the Ravens in my mind. They have 15 straight games will take away 7 defensive touchdowns since 2019. They haven't allowed 25 points in 14 games. like this defense right now is playing insanely well. The Chiefs after last year, I think with midway to about week 10 probably, that defense found itself. And it wasn't like they even changed any personnel. They just changed the way they played. And it was amazing. So to have those defenses kind of kicking in, but then to have these two mutants at quarterback playing each other. And there was a throw that Mahomes made, I think it was week 10 versus Oakland, that they had ran. Oakland came out of cover 3. They jumped out to a cover 2. They ran hooks. You're not supposed to throw in that, but for some reason, Patrick Mahomes found a way to do it. And every time I see it, I'm just like, no, it's everything on paper says you're not supposed to do this. And I say that constantly. And I'm like, how the hell does he keep doing this? And who does he think he is? He's that guy. He's that guy. And all these other pundits out here talking about, our Baltimore quarterback here, and he's not. Lamar's actually getting a lot better, and people should not be surprised at that. He's actually now starting to take that step forward. You can sit there and say, Josh Allen's not accurate, but be okay with that. But then say the same thing about Lamar and that be a problem. No, but he's better, and he's gonna get better. And I'm just looking forward to this game because all these things are going to be highlighted in one game, and can't wait.
Rob,
this game, man. This is my Super Bowl right now, man. Just because this game, these two teams, man. Like I don't even know. I want to pick Kansas City. Everything in me wants to pick Kansas City, just knowing that after that game that they played last week, the way that they played, they probably weren't too happy with themselves offensively or defensively. So they're going to come out knowing that they got to go up against Baltimore. They're going to come out firing. But then Baltimore, like, the team is just good, man. The team is just good. They're going to be hard to stop. Just like you said with Mahomes and some of the passes that he throws, you're not supposed to be able to do that. Well, Lamar does things physically. I go, how did you just do that? How did you move your hip? But your shoulder went this way, your hips went that way, your head is dead center, not even moving. Defenders they don't know what to do with you. And then of course he's getting better as a passer. So it's just like, man, this game is almost a toss-up, man, 50-50. But I'm going to go with Baltimore, man. I'm going to get him the edge on this one.
All right, Justin.
I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with Baltimore. Only I think Baltimore is like, seems like they're like it's like a business trip. Like the way they play is like you can't sit out 2 quarters with Baltimore. You can't take a quarter off against Baltimore because you take a quarter off against Baltimore, you're gonna be down 14-0. And my only reason I even question it is because they're so aggressive defensively that I worry that they might come out and try to play man, and let Tyreek Hill run by a guy or something like that. That's my only worry with them because the teams that stop Kansas City play a certain way, and they just seem so confident in the way they play that I kind of worry this guy's going to call blitzes and play a certain, but they can match them offensively. They're physical. Baltimore's the best team right now, so I'm going to go Baltimore.
Yeah, for me, I'm going Baltimore. I think some of their offseason acquisitions were literally for the Chiefs in mind, right? I think they watched the Super Bowl intently, thinking about the way, Baltimore and San Francisco were eerily similar. Obviously, now it's all about the quarterback position, but outside of that and how those teams were built and how they went about their business, the tight ends matter so much in their offense. Don't even think Baltimore right now. Hollywood's more proven than IU, clearly. This is year 2 for Hollywood. But the idea is you got 2 quarterbacks from a passing standpoint that eat in the middle of the field. They live in between the numbers, and they get busy in between the numbers. The challenge for both of those guys in those different places is their work outside the numbers. I think Lamar's a little bit further in that regard than my guy right now because of having somebody like Hollywood going to get Devontae out of Texas, little things like that. And defensively, I think the addition of Calais Campbell and then the other guy I want to go to, Patrick Queen, it may not pay off in this game, but they if you look what having Fred Warner did against the Chiefs and how it took a lot of the crap out the middle of the field that they wanted, and it bothered Mahomes in the fact that Fred was able to just drift comfortably from an athletic standpoint. He could just drift with his eyes, where usually, Mahomes, he finds something, he can swing it, and the ball could get there. Fred athletically, bro, we going to I'm a defensive slide this thing all the way out to the end, all the way back. I'm not saying Patrick Queen is Fred Warner, obviously, just saying it gives them a new piece in the middle of the defense that they did not have. The linebackers on their team last year did not have his physical abilities. Patrick Queen is one of those things. The Kansas City got one of those things in the draft too. He's a little younger, and of course, I'm gonna forget his name at this moment, but Patrick's gonna bring dividends. I don't know what's gonna be this time when they face the Chiefs. I'm interested to see if he can make an impact. But the biggest thing for me against the Chiefs is taking the middle of the field away. To where he's gonna bomb you, right? But you gotta take the middle of the field away. Because there's so much crap they do with those dudes running 4-1s going across the field. You got to take that crap out of there. And then you got people like Marcus Peters. So if it is stuff like, Jesse, you brought up with him making impossible throws through zones on hooks and things of that nature, you don't like your chances with a ball hawk like Marcus hanging around. Take the throw, you live with it. But how many times, do you want Pat to test Marcus? It's one of the best sets of hands in the league. So that's the thing. And that's the other thing. He's going to beat you. It's kind of like just mitigating the risk. To give him the places to beat you, and knowing that if we all know where we're going to get exposed in our defense, we all know what we got to do. Then we're flying to the ball as a unit in those areas. But if a lot of defenses, what happens is you're so worried about the speed on the outside, man, it's a playground in the middle. Them dudes, one cut here, one dude miss, they're off to the target. When Tyreek makes one dude miss, it's done. We're done. Nothing else to see. Same thing with Nico. Same thing with Sammy. They get that thing. They drop step. Only difference is when they drop step, they coming out that thing at Mach 7. Other people drop step, they still moving like mortals. Them dudes, it's over. It's done. So, that's why I think Patrick Queen's so important. You got to take away the middle of the field from Mahomes. And then Calais Campbell presents a fun problem because Baltimore's like New England, not this year, but like in the sense that they got a lot of fun, weird pieces up front that don't necessarily match, but they give you an opportunity to match up with teams that you play. Where you just throw a bunch of random stuff up front and be like, go be disruptive. I think Calais is going to be a part of that. But again, the toughest part is actually bothering Mahomes.
And it's funny, you say you brought up Patrick Queen. Me and Justin watched film on college, and there were certain things I didn't like on tape. But the funny thing is, Baltimore doesn't care about that stuff. They're like, don't worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that stuff around, like the trash around your feet. You ain't got to worry about stacking the shed. You ain't got to worry about using your hands. We're going to make it easy for you. And all the things that he's really good at, like it shines. And you see some of that on tape. That's why I think Baltimore's going to win the game, because there's little things that they put together so well. Like you said, they put a bunch of things together on the field and like be disruptive. And certain, like Andy likes to be able to look at a defense and kind of know what he's looking at. And not to have that is always a problem for him. So that's why I think Baltimore's going to win that game.
Yeah, by all means. And this was fun as always. We'll try to do this again. We're going to try to get these fine-tuned to like hour 30 or 2 hours tops. But y'all just keep talking. I'm blaming this on y'all. I'm exhausted.
The new guy walked in. This is my fault.
I know whose fault it is. I got a scapegoat. This is on Adam Gase. And we just going to
there you go.
When the Bears win 10-6 next week.
Come on, man. We'll just keep doing this, huh?
That gets us the hour.
If they go 3-0, Maserati Mitch, it's about to be a party in here next week.
We breaking down film.
Sunglasses on.
Oh no, definitely. We're definitely breaking down film. We gonna have a Mitch film session.
Where's the log off button? Are we done?
Right there. You can remove yourself. Maserati Mitch thing. I might title this one Maserati Mitch. Cannot escape this. But we thank y'all for tuning in, man. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
All right.